Pedro Pascal sucks.
I agree.
Hi, Pedro, if you're watching. There was a video up on YouTube where somebody had gone to their local multiplex, and they were in the lobby, in the foyer, whatever, looking at the popcorn machine and the various other bits and pieces, the amusement areas, and they panned around a row of posters. And I don't know how many screens this cinema particularly had, but he said, "Oh, honey, what do you want to see tonight? Do you want to see a Pedro Pascal movie?" And he looked at one poster, or a Pedro Pascal movie, or a Pedro Pascal movie. And it's the beautiful comic timing that says so much. He doesn't completely ruin Fantastic Four, not by a long chalk. In fact, he's a lot better than I expected. But the film is not anywhere
it would
near
be a fantastic, good marketing opportunity right now. Every film to have Sydney Sweeney in it.
Everyone, without fail.
And selling jeans.
Yeah.
Spin-off, Spider-Woman spin-off.
That's right.
Because obviously when we last spoke, where was culture at? And it was very much here. And I think it is still. I think it is now. We were somewhat nestled, weren't we, between her heaving bosoms, and now we're sort of resting in her navel, really, and enjoying the ride, because the media is sort of losing its shit over this, even now, aren't they? After a week and a half.
Oh, they still are. Are you
only
kidding?
the left media.
It's caused a liberal meltdown like no other, and it's just kind of hilarious, and it just shows how disconnected they are from literally everything, and. It's great to see. Dan, could I request that you leave this picture up the whole show?
Yes, please.
Everybody. I mean, I
want it burnt in my screen.
This is redeemed double denim from the days of Francis Rossi and Rick Parfitt. People overseas have no idea what I'm talking about. Status Quo. But this is an incredible image, and I think this is really going to last. I think it's going to be one of the lasting images, not just of this year, but of the sort of closing throes of the culture war as woke finally bleeds out. So I think this is absolutely wonderful. Sydney Sweeney's fantastic, of course she is. But I've noticed that there's a further advert where a young guy who's just been in some big Netflix movie, if there is such a thing as a big Netflix movie. So some guy who played a romantic lead, he has now shot an advert for some fancy summery drink. And now they're calling, and he's like a blonde, curly hair, probably only about 24, 25, bless him. Some young lad. On the threshold of hopefully, a decent career and a happy life, and there they are calling this bloke a Nazi just because he's in this advert. It's mental,
and he's white.
Yes,
but you know what? I recently saw another jeans manufacturer decided to have a they did a juxtapose to this, and they had a very overweight woman in jeans. And they said, what happened? Did she eat Sydney Sweeney? So it's just there is attractive, and then there's look. We're just so used to seeing attractive women. When we see unattractive women, we see them in the street, and we don't want to see that. We want an idealistic world. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. We don't want to see the real world.
Well, the truth of the matter is, there are plenty of women who could stand to miss a few dinners, who are still very very attractive, but they needn't necessarily, but they're not overweight to the point of being morbidly obese. I think that there's a way of depicting a healthy lifestyle which doesn't necessarily revolve around being a size 10 or whatever you want to call it, or an 8, or the fabled size 0 from 10 years ago. But to go completely perversely in the opposite direction and to promote unhealthy living is simply irresponsible, as well as non-reflective, neither of what we want or who we are.
Well, doesn't she look like she's wearing oversized clothes?
Well,
so she's been wearing like a boyfriend's clothes because she's got no other clothes at the moment.
That's the hint. That's what they're hinting at.
It's kind of a rip on a 70s. There was a 70s jeans ad that was big, that had like this same pose. And I think in many ways, this is the coming when this does. I think it's not only the content that we're looking at, but the timing of this could not have been, more perfect. I mean, over the last year, especially since January, Trump was inaugurated, everybody's finally, have the courage to turn away from woke and start saying what they really meant, and all of the manifestations of the agenda around our society are slowly dying off. All of the proponents realize that they're shouting into the wind. Nobody's listening to them anymore. And the fact that this comes when it does, Sydney Sweeney was already a known quantity. She was already a liked quantity. That romantic comedy that she did about a year ago was still a big hit, like on streaming and video and everything. So she's a known quantity. But the fact that she comes in and under the company called American Eagle, I mean, come on, how much more patriotic of a name for a company can you get than that? And that everybody has embraced this, except for the screaming banshees who realize that this is the final nail in their coffin. It's all fantastic.
Yeah.
Go see Madam Web. It's hilarious.
I don't see this image disappearing from the news cycle anytime soon. I think this is here to stay. Sydney Sweeney could be very well one of the most influential, if not actresses, then figures of the next 10 years or so if she plays her cards right.
She's doing some kind of I think training now for like some kind of like boxing movie or something that she's in, kind of similar. Oh, is it? But it hasn't come out yet, has it?
Yeah. That was something she was working on a good 6 or 7 months ago, and she bulked up and all that kind of thing. And in all honesty, they gave her a kind of a bit of a butch haircut, to tell you the truth, as the joke goes, to play some. It's a biopic that she's made, I think, Chris. But she's
we'll go see Immaculate. She plays a nun, doesn't wear any makeup, and spends the entire movie in a nun outfit. And there's no happy scenes.
And she's in a Ron Howard
She's nude?
movie. She's in a Ron Howard movie with Anna de Armas that's coming out, I guess, unless my timeline's screwed up.
Ballerina.
No, not Ballerina, but she is with Anna de Armas. Like on an island somewhere is the premise of this movie. I'm not sure the name.
Oh, is that with Tom Cruise or someone?
No, it's Ron Howard directed it.
Oh, well, yeah, okay. I remember his solo film.
Yes, this is
that's the work of genius. It was the best film ever. I loved every second of it. It was awesome.
Oh, Chris, you do sound on form today, mate. I can't wait to get
the fact now that the left and by extension over here in this country, the Democratic Party and stuff, the fact that they have now basically planted their flag essentially against attractive women and good-looking women just a matter of course. It's like, and that's all they have left. That just shows how cooked they are.
It doesn't mean that all advertising need exclusively be like that, but the reaction to this is ridiculous, unhealthy, and it just goes to show how bad, how much worse that sort of collective malfunction, mental malfunction, had got. Yeah. That people are going completely ballistic about that, having the biggest meltdowns. It's mainly women. I haven't seen any dudes doing it, but I've no doubt there are a few. And it's sort of, didn't you see this coming? And you think, wow, the creatures out there who could receive it in this way, rather than look at a young woman, truly empowered, who's achieving something. Her wildest dreams, I would imagine. If I know very little about her. If she's wanted to be an actress since she was a little girl, for example, here she is doing it, becoming a figure of huge cultural relevance, and earning a few bob. And there's nothing, I would have thought there'd be nothing more feminist than that. But it's the kind of feminism they're not interested in, isn't it?
And the problem is her mother is apparently a mega voter. As if that matters.
Who cares? Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, but like that's part, anything.
Matthew Pounder is one of several people who's joined us already in the live chat. So let's say hello to a couple of people before we get started, including Grand Moff Miranda. I haven't seen you for a while, Miranda. Good to catch up with you.
Hello.
And Matthew Pounder says she gets my vote. What are we voting for? Yeah,
we're voting for awesomeness, and we're voting for Madam Web. She's in that movie.
She'd be all for AI.
It just shows you how so many companies, American companies, who went the other way and basically crashed into oblivion, like, you know, the beer company, you know, and all of these places like Target and everything. And it just shows that
Scream Factory.
I think it was like, and the fact that it's readjusting now to this,
Umbrella,
more like it's always been, it just shows like the last 10 years has been really kind of an aberration that we're kind of slowly getting over. It's not the norm. It's not the norm anymore.
It's not a normal state of being for an individual.
It's very unfair because here in Oz, the wonderful world of Oz, I'm so jealous because I really want to live in freaking America at the moment because we are just going backwards, and it's getting
over
to
there.
It's we're just about to block YouTube for under 16s, so you know it's just ridiculous. We have no. We've already gone to three elections this year. One federal, and we've got another 3 years of this bullshit with the whole woke agenda going on, and I'm just so over it. You got to be so careful where you walk. Certain states you have to be careful. You can't, hail a taxi or anything like that. It's just it's becoming so awful. I got messages from people in the UK asking me if certain things were true. And they couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it because I was saying, well, yes, unfortunately, this is our future, and it's we are cutting down all our history. We're destroying it. They all hate us for being white, and we're sitting on the fence for the whole political. I don't want to get into that, but the political stuff happening in other countries at the moment. Just can't we be like Trump and just stay out of other people's businesses and just let them fight it out? Unless they come to our shores and then we'll kick their asses. But I want that mentality. But as soon as you say that, you're an islamophobe and everything else in between, and it's like I don't care. I just want to go along. We are suffering here in Australia for power, water. Everything has just gone up. We're going to be paying 40% in the next 4 years for our water. And there was a point when I was a kid, I didn't have to pay for water.
Oh, we do.
Well, they tried to. See, you guys. See, in America and that, they have to pay for ambulances and that. Yep. We don't have to pay for an ambulance, but they tried and they failed because they realized people weren't going to ring up for an ambulance if they're sick. But they're still trying.
$45 here.
Yeah, no, we don't have to pay for an ambulance to call an ambulance. But they're trying to charge us for everything. Nothing is free anymore.
I can't offer you a cure for all of that. Of course, I can't. Any sunny sides to any of that, but.
Yell at the clouds, man. Yell at the clouds, the sky.
In the good news pile, when we went live last week, we talked about the Comic-Con coverage of Star Trek. Thank heaven that it wasn't in time to talk about the trailer to Starfleet Academy because that was
I'm just going to leave at this point.
Horrendous,
I don't want to look at this again.
Way worse than we were expecting.
Who was right? Dan, who was just proven right again?
Well, we were all saying it was crap.
Happily for us, it's mostly the good stuff we can talk about this time as we peer in. Come with us and peruse our shelves here as we talk about physical media, a 4K Blu-ray, DVD, and all those retro formats from the past. It's very much back to our happy place, or is it? Because there's always plenty to moan about here at the Spacebook Live.
Oh.
Our intrepid explorers from Neatweetland arrive on a starving planet.
Crowns. Exactly, Duck. Titty breakfast plague. No! This planet suffers from zero energy in the morning.
Send our Neatweet to help this planet, Brian! Okay!
You make it neat wheat, mate.
If you know what's good for you,
the Weetabix.
Okay!
Yeah, on the best channel that you've never heard of. It's the Spacebook Live, undiluted, out there entertainment on YouTube and on Rumble on Saturday, the 2nd of August, 2025. It'll be Christmas before we know it. Good God, what a depressing thought. Yes, we have a crackpot panel of disc jockeys and shelf rangers, all here to join in the fun. Maybe we'll see how that goes. There's probably a lot of spleen venting going to happen, as always. I think I'm Dan Hadley, Birmingham's King of the Geeks. I'm joined by Gary Akers, the Retro Doc. We've got Mr. Matt Pott there on the other side of the world, the sunny side of the world, although it's looking a bit parky. He's give us a flash of that winning smile, as always. And we have the mighty, the one and only Bolstrek, our mate Chris here to get stuck into everything that we have prepared for you this evening or this afternoon or this morning, depending on where you are. Sounds like a good deal, doesn't it, guys? I'd watch it. Okay, so yes, still playing a little bit of catch up. It's only fair to acknowledge this because my part of the world was very much the center of the world, or that's how it felt this week. We talked about him last week. This week marked what I can only describe as the next to state funeral. I've never seen anything quite like this of the Prince of Darkness himself, Chris Ozzy Osbourne. This all happened just a couple of miles, literally a couple of miles up the road from me in the middle of the week. A very quick departure and final rest for Ozzy Osbourne. We talked about it at length last week, and all week his legacy, his family have been permanently in the news cycle, and my city, all eyes have been on Birmingham. It's been really quite a strange experience for me. I knew that he was popular, but I had no idea that he was this popular, or the establishment would indulge such a lavish, respectful funeral for somebody who is a pop culture figure in many respects and a recording artist. Obviously, I mean, were you following this? Were you moved by the departure, Chris?
I was actually I saw a lot of this live. I couldn't believe it. I don't think anybody, even Ozzy, knew he was this popular. But this is like Princess Diana. I'd say well deserved. And like what I was saying last week, the the difference, I think, with the Osbournes compared to a lot of other families is there really isn't any fakeness there. You can tell just by watching the funeral, how much he actually meant to him. And, Sharon, you could see like that was heartbreaking. She was absolutely destroyed. So it's
how brave is, I mean, all of them, but that woman in particular, it felt very much, obviously, because you don't need to be a genius to work out. She looks very frail, understandably very emotional and drained, and in deep, deep mourning. But you can see she was aware the wave of support, affection, and respect for her, as well as her late husband, was undeniable. And Kelly was wearing his glasses, Sharon wearing his ring, and I would imagine his other children may have been wearing various accessories too. It was incredibly powerful on a human level as well. It doesn't matter how much money they've got, I don't think.
Oh, they got a lot of money. His estate was worth $220 million. But obviously, none of them were doing this for the money. Ozzy could have retired 30, 40 years ago and had enough to basically live the rest of his life on. He did this because he loved it. And his plan was, even though I think he knew his time was up, he did want to continue recording, even though he couldn't play live again. And I think it was they were talking to Alice Cooper, who's the exact same age as Ozzy. He said, people that are genuine rock stars who aren't fake, you basically do this into the grave. And I think one thing about Ozzy is that the man in some ways really was kind of a contradiction, because you had his, you had this Prince of Darkness stage persona, the person who accidentally bites bats in half and not accidentally bit the head off a dove, and, his on-stage persona. But when you see him, and you saw a glimpse of this over 2 decades ago with the Osbournes, anybody that you talk to who's met Ozzy said he was one of the kindest and most genuine people you could ever meet, and it almost seemed like the guy didn't actually have a mean bone in his body, and you can even tell. And it's typical Ozzy, where he kind of became the stereotype of what happens when you do too many drugs, and he's been parodied many times. But it's you watch him even in interviews with the way that he relates to his kids. Like he was a genuine person, and you can tell. Family was the one thing that meant everything to him. So it's I think famous figures like Ozzy, whether it be musicians, whether it be actors, I think they're very rare because most of them are completely fake. You never see the real them. Ozzy, at least from what I could see, was the least fake person you would ever meet. And unfortunately, obviously, I never had the privilege of meeting him, although I've spoken to many people that have. He never really got political. Um, he did speak out against nuclear war. He's did a campaign, I think it was last year, against trophy hunting, which I said is something.
He had rather humanist view, I think, of
Sharon
things
is
of that
very
nature.
political and does not like Trump. But Ozzy, for the most part, he was just Ozzy, and I think he also knew that these kind of things are divisive. He just wanted to make his music, and I think it's awesome that he was able. Basically his dying wish was he wanted to play live one more time, and he got that wish. And I think all of us were amazed. And the one funny thing about Ozzy, and this really goes back to his days with Sabbath, just talking half the time, you have no idea what he's saying. But then as soon as he starts singing, it's clear as day. And even on his last performance, you could see in interviews, like he could barely speak. As soon as the music starts going, it's like out of nowhere, that voice comes back. And I think he is one of those stars. There will never be another Ozzy. But
I'm confident. I'm confident, Chris, that we'll never see another funeral in Britain quite like this one. I can't. But this surprised me, so maybe I'm wrong. But it was very strange. I mean, I drink in those pubs there. That big building, I've been on many nights out in the building behind the sign that says Ozzy Forever. And so whilst I didn't intend on returning to this subject, but I didn't think that it would have this reach throughout the entire world. And it's sort of, I don't know whether it is, because obviously he wasn't woke in any way. The politics of the family themselves are complicated. You say Sharon Osbourne may not be a fan of the president, but she's by no means left wing. She's actually very very conservative in her views and the values that she promotes. And I think that people like them, who are seen to express genuine raw opinions, unaffiliated with any side, any party, any ideology. That's the way that most families are, I think. But as a pop culture figure, obviously, we said last week, some of us on the panel were big heavy metal fans, others less so. But even so, I mean, these images must have transmitted to both you guys in America and Australia. And the final image here, which I've had to block out just in case, because I don't know. Now we've got this online safety bill. I don't know if this is even allowed for me to show that word on YouTube. But this is where Ozzy has been laid to rest. This is where he's been buried. Back in Buckinghamshire after his state funeral of Birmingham, where he toured. His coffin was taken around his childhood home and places of significance like that. He's been laid to rest, buried at the family's estate in Buckinghamshire there, with these with the bouquets and this sort of flower wall there, denoting his resting place for, I suppose, for the members of the press who can't help but send a few drones in and things like that. But that's very Aussie as well, isn't it?
Yeah, well, rest in peace, Ozzy. I don't think his life is fascinating. Well, Dan, you read his book.
Brilliant book.
His life was interesting, but I put him up there with the likes of John Lennon, Elvis, not much of an Elvis fan, but I can understand his impact. Michael Jackson, he was within that ilk, and the impact that he had. I'm like him and Tony Iommi invented heavy metal. So everything that's come through the decades goes to Sabbath. So I don't think you can ever underestimate this man's impact on music. And we have decades worth of material, and I guess they're going to be doing an IMAX film of the final concert, which I'm assuming hopefully comes out on physical media. So I'll definitely be getting that. But yeah, so all right,
an absolute must for any fan.
Yep.
It is strange, but it's sort of, guys, how it made me feel is that stars and the cult of celebrity, I think I'd forgotten how powerful it can be, and that we can still celebrate the people who, whatever brand of music they made or films they starred in, Matt, if somebody's produced something that's made a difference to the lives of others, just displaying that affection and appreciation, that's not dead after all. Not necessarily everything need be politicized. And I do wonder if the fact that this goodbye to Ozzy Osbourne wasn't politicized in the end, is that also a sign that woke is on the way out, that the people who stamp their feet and make all the noise. And I know that they did look into his past and they had a problem with this, a problem with that, but all that was silenced within a few hours. Whereas, in the past, it hasn't been the case. So I personally think this is a win, I think, for the collective sensibilities and a right way and respectful way of venerating people based on what they've achieved rather than what they believed or what they were perceived to represent. So simple things, I know, and it shouldn't really. I don't think it would have needed saying a few years ago, Gary. But
it shows. It just shows us as a people, we still have the capacity to come together, in positive ways, united. In this case, to honor, somebody that meant a lot to a lot of people, and it's not all about division and disharmony and attacks and everything. I mean, we still have, we're still able to get beyond that.
I think
dignity, I think, is the word I'm looking for. Dignity.
Well, I think at this point, Dan, just going back to what you're saying, I think we do need to show respect to the celebrities that didn't go woke during the past decade, because there were several of them. It's like, and the majority of them went completely over the edge, but you always had, your William Shatners and, yes, your Nicolas Cages, your Mel Gibsons, those that just were still genuine people and didn't go along with the trend. So, yeah, that's
we'll see where things settle in a few years' time. Something else that brings us together, of course, is laughter and nostalgia. There'll be plenty of that coming up over the next hour and a bit, I dare say. Another aspect that we do like celebrating on this show is very much our childhoods, our formative years, or wherever we grew up in the world, and those experiences, I suppose, that may have given us uneasy nights' sleeps. They may have been trying to tell us something that they feel was good for us, that we needed to know, but it often was the case that it caused more harm than good. I'm talking about public information films or public service announcements. Of course I am. And we have another belter here from Canada. Chris, you've come up with the goods yet again.
Hello, everyone. Who's excited?
Me.
I said, who's excited?
Me, sir, me.
Okay, Dan's excited. Everybody else is excited.
I am.
So today, folks, we're going to learn about, it's another video on forklift safety and what not to do in the construction yard, because it can end very badly. This is, again, from the province of Alberta and their infamous "Some Days Are Bloodier Than Others" campaign. So the
Is that what
title of
it's
the
called?
campaign speaks for itself. The last time we watched one of these, it was the deep fryer incident. So now,
Right.
so roll it down, and we're going to learn about forklifts and what not to do.
Oh, wait.
Oh no! The guy's not going to roll over the top of him, is he? Oh.
So discussion. What did we learn this week, folks?
I'm not sure the lesson I'm supposed to take from that. I mean, don't go onto construction sites.
Well, no. The lesson is don't put your foot in front of the forklift and don't listen to terrible punk music.
Well, I don't think. First of all, I think that the guy would be. You're not supposed to listen to headphones while you're doing.
Yeah, well, he can't be pretending. Yeah, well, he had headphones on and he had safety headphones on, so it's obvious.
Yeah, it was not the most grisly. We've had grislier.
And you don't go. I know you're in pain and everything, but you don't go and lay in front where the guy was actually kept reversing.
Yeah. Well, also the funny part is he was just, and the customer here is a complete jerk because the customer, he's loading the wood into his car, and the customer doesn't even bother getting out of the car when the dude gets run over.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, take that, peasant.
The second you said forklift, I was honestly expecting. Remember that Bond movie License to Kill where the guy gets skewered by the forklift? I was expecting something like that when you said forklift.
I was waiting for a kid to show up.
Well, we have to moderate these because we can't have the same death and destruction every week. Although there is lots of those. Next week I plan on depressing the living hell out of everyone. So yeah, look forward to that.
I can't wait. Yeah, it's the screams. I think that they really do sell it on that, don't they? An extra scream as the film's going on. What's the echo? Yeah,
I think Richard Brooks in the chat has the key lesson we should learn from this.
So what have people picked up? What have people picked up on here in the live chat? Let's go and see if they've learned their lessons. Robert Payne expected him to be pronged.
Yeah, me too.
By the folks who's going to go for the arm. It is getting like that. It's like the first 10 minutes of Casualty. You wonder what the accent's going to be. Don't wear ear protection, says Lucy Meow. What am I looking for?
Richard Brooks, the one a couple below
safety. Yes. Where have we? I can't find it, Richard.
He says the lesson I learned was to properly file yellow paperwork before loading.
Oh, there you go. There it is.
Don't put it in your mouth. It's the customer's paperwork, and that's yucky.
Yes, so thank you for that. Where there's blame, there's a claim. Advice Dr. Rick. There you go. Sage advice. I think sage advice.
Now, would he be who would he be able to sue for that? I'm wondering. The other guy
or the company?
The company?
Yeah. It's like a Home Depot. So so he'd sue Home Depot. He'd sue the dude listening to terrible music just for listening to terrible music, and I'd sue the jerk who didn't even get out of his truck.
Workplace safety would absolutely nail that company. Like just.
This is Canada. They'll nail you to the wall.
Yeah, that's what they do here too.
Well, actually, no. These days in Canada, it's like, watch the white dude. This is what white people do because they're dumb.
I've worked in an industrial area, and I tell you what, I don't know how many times I've told them how dangerous things were or whatever, and they just totally fob me off until shit happens, and then suddenly I'm like, I told you so, and you're like, well, we don't have any evidence of that, and I'm like, I told this person, all in charge, and they've just like, oh, we don't know anything about that.
In the corporate world, they record all the conversations that suit them and they want to remember and preserve.
Oh, it got to the point where I was recording. It's just.
I know, Matt. I've worked one of those jobs too. It's one of the reasons why my back is permanently screwed.
Yeah, me too.
And most of these companies don't follow these things, and and the employees are told, do not report this. Altered logs, everything.
I've been in an area where it's been cover-ups as well. Like they've actually covered up for certain individuals who work in the company. So,
or if they're face fits, or if they're related to the right people, that kind of thing.
And that's right, because unfortunately it became a family affair, and that's where everything, suddenly, because there were certain higher ups of parts of the family that were covering up certain individuals and that, and there's nothing you can do, nothing.
Well, Matt, in here, you probably have something similar there, but under WMIS, or the Workplace Safety Standards, we have what's called right to refuse unsafe work, and all work is supposed to stop until somebody who's qualified actually verifies that it's safe. Yeah, this place I worked for would literally fire you if you refuse to work. I know, because I tried it once. Yes, I almost got killed by this truck. I'm not doing this. Right to refuse. They're like, nope, you're doing this. I'm like, no, that what you're doing right now is illegal. This truck almost killed us. Nope, keep going. At which point, me being me, there were some words exchanged, and I won't repeat what I said because it will get Dan in trouble with the YouTubes. But you know how grumpy I get in my videos. Yeah, think that.
Well, Dalek DeBando in the chat says, just never leave your cellar. And you know what? That's a good point. Just stay in your cellar. Just stay in your cellar.
No. Everybody wants to work at home now, and some things, it's like when the CUF happened a few years ago, and we had to continue working because we were an essential service. It was just like one of those times where it was like, I just wish I could, work at home like everybody else,
Chris, actually, that's a point. You'd think that like during those 3 years, when everybody was like stuck at home, that would have been material for them to do a whole new series about like home safety, because you're stuck at home, and just do these types of things where people are getting into catastrophic things at home.
Well, yes, don't spill your beer and your keyboard while you're working.
I think maybe we could fill that gap and make our own here at the Spacebook Live. After we've watched all of these, I think there'll be nobody in the world better placed than us to right all these wrongs and to make some good content to reflect that, to sit alongside all of this. Our back catalogue of live streams here covering all of pop culture, out there entertainment, whether it's classic movies, upcoming movies and TV, or our physical media geek outs, just like this one. More of that coming up in a moment. But if you're enjoying this and you wonder what we've talked about before, dive back to your little hearts of content there for further conversations. Some are even more obscene than this one. Okay, so where are we off to now? Back to the shelves, back to our collections. Yes, love, we're watching what I say we're watching. This is going to work. Okay, so how about, before we get into it, a drop of this.
Videokazety BASF. 6 miliard magnetických zrn na čtvereční milimetr pásku dává fantastické barvy. Fantastické barvy mají pásky BASF.
Yes. This is what I want to see Sydney Sweeney in, a biopic about this chick here.
Amen.
The 1980s. That'd be pretty good if you ask me. Okay, so this is our physical media night for August. We've got a few things coming up for you guys, but before we get stuck into what we've been picking up, here's a look at, I think, what is becoming our favorite boutique label here. Chris was the first onto this, but I think all of you guys, I think I was basically the last on to this to discover the wonders of Arrow Video.
Ooh.
And yes, since you guys have pointed me in their direction, I've never looked back, and now I'm fervently following everything they do on social media. So there's some titles coming out this. So this is this month for August of 2025. So what I've started doing is looking at these graphics and thinking, okay, what can I pre-order? What's in my wheelhouse? What do I fancy from all of this? So coming up over the next few weeks from Arrow, there is The Shootist, the John Wayne classic that's exclusive to Britain, alongside the Michael Mann thriller Thief, which I've never seen, and a movie called Exit Enemy Territory, which I've never heard of. So all of those are exclusive to Britain for some reason, but they're exported all over the world. Anybody got a pick from this lot? Anybody got any of these on pre-order?
I've only seen The Shootist. That was actually John Wayne's last movie, and that's a good one.
They've been doing a lot of. Arrow tends to focus on specific genres. One of them that they're doing a lot of right now are classic westerns.
Yeah, they used to be a real heavy horror.
They still are. I think what they did was
back into it.
It's they kind of mix them up, but the way they market is differently. Like a company like Trash Factory that used to be really good.
Yeah, it's when they went American. I think when they went American, they started.
We were very happy
diversifying.
They did that.
I'm not.
I am. They're my second favorite boutique label, but no, what they do is it's actually a Trash Factory, formerly known as Scream/Shout Factory, before they sucked. Used to do things a little bit differently, where they kind of split off their brands. So anything that was non-horror went under Shout. Anything that was horror went under the Scream Factory sub-label. Arrow did something similar, except it's all marketed just under Arrow Video. But each month they still have some horror. There is one horror that you do not want to get that even they could do a misstep. But one of their horror releases in North America, from what I can see, is a Woke Nightmare. But I am probably getting the other. Well, I pre-ordered the other three.
Oh, these three?
No. The North American ones.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's the thing too, because they have started doing like certain releases for certain territories. So, like the last Starfighter wasn't available, and they made sure that nobody could get it in the UK. But I mean, thankfully, 4K is region free.
Right.
But I had to. Yeah, it's a rights thing, but it's like, what's the point,
Well, there's some releases that we can't get in Canada that are just US only, which is frustrating.
Since you guys have sort of switched me, since you guys have switched me onto this, what I'm finding is that the titles I'm gravitating towards are, firstly, generally speaking, older ones, and ones that are stylistically in line with my own tastes, really. So anything that Michael Mann would have made in the 80s, I'm absolutely going to be getting Thief. I've only ever seen the film a couple of times, but I think it should look very seductive, I think, in 4K, and I'm very gradually coming round to that. I avoid all westerns like the plague, particularly if they star John Wayne. A childhood of being forced to watch them on a loop all weekend that put me off for life.
Yeah, Gary, you and I will talk The Searchers at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, I have that on the DVD. Not the Blu-ray or not the
best final shot in any movie.
Oh, God,
ever.
you've got to get it on 4K, mate. It's just, it's just stunning. Like, it's just freaking stunning.
I confess, I do own True Grit, but that's about
Everybody owns
about
that.
the limits of it. Yeah.
Even the remake of that was good.
Yeah, I love the remake too.
Somehow I own that twice.
The rest of the releases from Arrow for this month are Perpetrator.
You do not want that. I looked at it, and Arrow makes a misstep, but they picked up a bunch of releases from Shudder. And so this is one of them. So they've been releasing those. It is a feminist horror movie from about
all feminist movies are horror movies, mate.
I had to laugh recently with Alicia Silverstone because she's in that movie, and it was she was in the back in a garage with her son, and her son found a Batgirl statue that she had when Batman and Robin, and he was laughing his head off at this Batgirl statue. He's like,
where was that?
I'm Batgirl. Oh, it's an actual video, like on her social media and that. And they're
I
going
like
through
that
all
costume, and yes, it does have Alicia Silverstone. I have not watched it, but I did look at the description and watch the trailer and saw what other people had to say with it. So
I'm a little disappointed because at first sight I thought the title said Penetrator, but yeah.
No, well, if you're penetrating the male ego and male gaze with the dagger, Dan. If somebody wants to watch it and prove me wrong, because I've just gone by the trailer and what other people have said about it, so there have been other.
How old is it?
Where we've been say what?
Can't be that.
How old is it?
2022. So that should.
Oh wow, gosh, that would have been an old Alicia Silverstone then.
Oh well, yeah, she's I think 49 now. So this was made right in the middle of woke things. So. I don't know how well this is going to do, but they picked this up from Shudder.
I've noticed that Alicia Silverstone is one of those few actresses who still has her original face. So I'll give her full marks for that. I'm perplexed by the notion of releasing an all singing, all dancing 4K of the remake of the Poseidon Adventure, because that left no impression on me whatsoever.
Is that the Poseidon Adventure?
No, it's the Kurt Russell remake. I mean,
as I said, the remake.
That's the perfect word for this, Dan. Perplexed. I was actually really hoping that back in 2022 we would get like a really good remastered, ton of extra 50th anniversary Blu-ray or 4K for the Poseidon Adventure, which I love. That never came. That movie is absolutely overdue for a good quality remastering. I don't know why they've just let that sit. This in no way deserves to come out like this before that one does.
I was thinking perhaps for the generation that came after us, Matt. I mean, this is what I've tried to get my head around, that because the films such as that aren't revered to me, it's an inferior remake that left no impression on me at all. I suppose if you were of a certain age, you first come across it on DVD or whatever, with your mates when you're at college, maybe it's got that kind of following. I don't know.
I'll tell you,
it's not that old.
No.
Well, I'm a fan of the Titanic.
I think it came out about 20 years ago, but
2006. But I'm a fan of. I love anything on a boat, even terrible stuff.
I like Wolfgang Peterson, so
it's not a good movie.
That's why I'm so disappointed with that. I'm a big fan of Ghost Ship, that silly horror thing from about 20 years ago as well.
That was made in Australia. Yeah,
but that was a remake as well, wasn't it? A lot keener on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. For me, that was much more successful. That seems to be both that one. That starred Jessica Biel, didn't it? And that is the prequel. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning, which I've got to be honest, Chris, I'm not sure I've seen
any of
that
those
one.
films.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 03 is one of my favorite remakes of all time. It's right up there with Day of the Dead. And the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that one came out again, I believe it was 06. It's a prequel to the remake movie, the 03 movie. You could actually watch them in either order if you want to, although it's better to watch the 03
What's the
movie.
plot? I've never seen any of these like Matt. What's the plot of the beginning one? Is that where him going out and buying the saw? Is that the plot of?
Basically, if you watch the 03, it's in many ways a beat for beat remake of the 74 film, but done extremely well. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning, takes place right before. Like the two movies basically hook up at the end, so it's not as highly regarded as the 03 remake, but I think it is one of the better Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, and they've got some really bad ones. Do not watch that Netflix abomination that came out a few years ago. But the odd thing about Poseidon is those types of movies are kind of in my guilty pleasure thing, because I have no idea. I was obsessed with the story of the Titanic when I was a kid. So anything that involves terrible things on a ship, I am fascinated by, even if it's terrible. And although it does have Kurt Russell, so it has that going for it.
Well, then, Chris, in that instance, what you need to seek out is around the same time this movie came out. Let's have my timelines wrong. Here in the States, one of the channels like NBC or whatever did a horrific, like 4-hour like miniseries, basically of the same thing. I don't even know what it was called. It wasn't called the Poseidon Adventure. Maybe it was, but It was, with B-level
you're right.
actors. I think Steve Guttenberg might have been in it, and Adam Baldwin and some other actors of that level. That's worse than Poseidon. So if you like bad movies on ships, go seek out whatever the 4-hour TV cable miniseries.
I will have to look that up. Even Titanic 2 has its moments, although it is horrible. It is horrific.
I know that Steve Guttenberg was in it. But the problem with that one, the TV miniseries, is they kept dividing the ship. They kept going back to what was going, because I watched it because I love the original so much. I watched
it was made a year before this film.
They kept going back to the rescue attempts of people on the surface back in wherever, you weren't stuck in the claustrophobic confines of the ship. They kept telling you, "Oh, here's the rescue attempts back on shore," and whatever, which took you out of it completely. I don't know what they were thinking of doing.
They just puncture the tension when they did things like that.
Exactly.
Gary, that was a 4-hour movie in 2 parts, like a typical TV movie of the week for mid 2000s. Yeah, yep. I've seen it like 20 years ago.
Yeah, Rutger Hauer was in that movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go.
And Brian Brown.
What was it called?
It was called The Poseidon Adventure. They did it a year before this release.
Yeah.
So they did. Obviously, they were trying to cash in because they thought this was going to be a massive hit. I do remember it now. You mentioned it. So.
Oh no, Goliath Awaits. I think is a much older one. That's actually really good. That was a miniseries where these divers go and there's like this luxury. Christopher Lee's in it. This luxury liner that's like trapped below it, and they've started creating this community. And Christopher Lee is like the kind of
I've never heard of this
captain who wants to keep everybody on board the ship and doesn't want these divers to come in and like rescue them and everything. That's actually a cool one. I remember that from long ago. Christopher Lee was in that.
I'm gonna have to go and look that up. Matthew Pounder suggests that Arrow's scraping the barrel this month, but Dalek DeBando says the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remakes are good. But after those, everything went pear-shaped. I certainly saw the 03 one. I don't think I saw the prequel, but I have seen a really iffy one from a few.
The Netflix one from a few years ago.
It was shite. It really, really was. Graham has joined us in the live chat. Graham J, looking to pre-order a film that has one of my favourite scores, Walkabout. I haven't seen if Walkabout's been listed yet.
It's Australian.
I would want that as well. It's a fabulous film. I saw that at a very impressible age, and I think I was about. Jenny Agutter was a few years older than me, so it's fine. It's fine. So that's everything that's coming out from Arrow this August, and there's other stories as well. I mean, Gary, you sent me this. Now I had been aware of it, and after seeing the story a few weeks ago about the James Bond set, this did, against my better judgment, pique my interest. It concerns Superman, and obviously it's in the wake, I would imagine, of the James Gunn, the new Superman movie. And so they've gone right back to the back catalogue to look, I suppose, at what they can re-release and capitalize on what they hoped was going to be a success and the eventual huge success of this new Superman film. So they've gone back to the Christopher Reeve films from the late 70s and the early 80s, but very much to right or wrong, haven't they? Because I knew that this set had been out before, and yet I've seen it listed here. At first glance, it seemed the same, but it's actually not the same at all, is it? This one that's being listed for later on this year. What can you tell us about this limited edition 4K Steelbook library case set of those 4 Christopher Reeve Superman films?
Well, I think from what I understand, this is a redo. They had an earlier printing which was kind of rife with errors, and apparently, according to the digital bits, they've gone back and listened to fans and basically supposedly corrected all the errors that were pointed out to them, whether it's bad cuts or bad framing or whatever in all of these movies. I assume that the look of this stand will probably be similar to the Bond one, where on one side they're all kind of like a mini shelved thing if it's a Steelbook library case. But this is I think exclusively to basically have kind of an error-free version of an earlier release.
First of all, it's good to know that it's not just everything from BBC Studios that falls foul of quality control. Because this was to say this is a luxury item is putting it mildly. Something like this is the kind of thing that people have to budget for in advance, Matt. You know, you do that, don't you? You see things that you really, really want, whether it's a multi-set or it's a particular edition. So if you've pre-ordered something, you've set a large sum of money aside for something that's coming out in a few months' time, then you await this sort of lavish package, and then you watch the thing, and there's various faults that are observable to you. I mean, I know that we can all be a little too particular now and again, but in this, and I'm not one for going through things with a fine tooth comb in bad faith, but when they sell something as being luxury, all caps luxury, they've got to make sure that there's no fuck-ups, haven't they?
Well, this is the issue that I've had recently, and I was going to do a video on it on my channel. But the issue that I've had is that I've bought things and I haven't watched them, and I've sat them on the shelf, and then somehow I've had a video come up on YouTube or something, and it's like an old video, and I'm like, oh, what's this? So recently I've had the Flintstones for about 3-4 years, the complete series from America, and I think I only watched the Man from Bedrock or something like that. I think it's called Bedrock, Man from Bedrock. Gary, is that it? Anyway, it's the Flintstones movie.
Anne Margaret?
I don't know. I think so. It's their first official film anyway that they did. Yeah, the animated movie, yeah. And so anyway, so I'd only watched that, so I hadn't watched the whole series. And anyway, they were talking about an audio issue. And I was like, and they were like, oh, I got this box set, and thankfully it's the corrected one. And I was like, oh, shit, which one do I have? So I actually got it off the shelf, put it in, and I had one with an audio issue. And I was like, oh, man, and I had to get this from the States. So I've ended up having to buy another set just to replace that one episode that has a really bad audio issue.
Oh, it's just the one episode as well.
Yeah. Well, apparently it was just
if you love that episode, then you've every right to.
I know it's gonna. I have a bit of OCD for that sort of stuff, and so it was like, well, do I have this one that's inferior on my shelf, or do I replace it with a new? I mean, I can't sell the older one anyway, but it's like, well, I'll buy it cheap. So I waited until it was really like half the price I paid originally. Just to replace it. But I mean, because Warner is really, really good, but apparently I've heard that some of the stuff, like the latest Looney Tunes ones that they've been re-released, are actually faulty. So I'm not buying those again because of the fact, because they literally sold out. They were selling for like $300, $400 online. It was just insane. And so they decided to re-release them, but now they've re-released them, they're faulty. So I'm not going to buy them. So, but it's happened a couple of times where I bought something and the transfer is wrong, and it's like, oh man. And the thing is, some, especially boutique. So if you buy from a boutique like Umbrella or someone, you pre-order and you get your disc or whatever. They recently had a problem with their movie Razorback, where I mean, it didn't worry to me, but they actually had the 4K, and they actually region locked the 4K, which probably wasn't the best idea for them. So they actually apologized and sent us a free replacement copy of it, even though it didn't affect me as much because it was for my region. I thought that was nice. But sometimes, because if you collect from overseas, you're not going to get that. So, I was just, it's only happened to me a couple of times. I have gotten a Star Wars disc, and there were major issues on that Blu-ray. The only time I've ever really had a problem with a local Blu-ray, really. And it's just like, I think it was a Clone Wars episode, and it really, really irked me that I couldn't watch it because it was just unplayable. You know, it didn't matter which machine I put it in or anything like that. So errors happen, but unfortunately, you know, you have to catch them in time. And if you're a collector like me, some things get on the back burner until it's too late, you know.
Yep.
The thing with this Superman thing is oh man, I want those TV versions. I'm sorry, I really
That's
do.
what's holding me back, Matt. I mean, it's great
Yep.
that they've fixed these audio problems on this. They've offered a breakdown as well as to exactly what's been fixed. It says the Superman 3 disc is unchanged, and so they've been exhaustive, I suppose, and responsive to all the criticisms. This is a responsible sort of reissue. I think you do wonder, couldn't they have offered people a like for like? You know, send us in a proof of purchase.
That's what I was wondering too.
You know,
because,
you do wonder.
Yeah.
And I know that this release is missing an extra steelbook, which had various paraphernalia in and maybe some cartoons. I don't know what that was in. So there's less in this one. But at least they've bothered, and they've looked at the Atmos fix that corrects various wow and pitch issues. But where is that TV version of the movie? That's the only reason I'm ever going to buy any of these films again. The packaging is absolutely beautiful.
Wait, Dan, go back to the other screen at the bottom. I just now saw it. If you have the previous box set and you want to replace this available, contact them for customer service. So maybe they will do a like for like.
Could be. That'll teach me to read ahead.
Yeah, I only bought the
No,
original.
I didn't see it either until you just at the last minute. So
yeah, I got the original film on 4K, and when I heard that there were issues, I was like, "Oh man," you know.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, the steelbook covers are great. I mean, I'm glad they're using the original poster art. I mean, that's kind of cool.
It annoyed me that they released the Richard Donner cut, but they didn't release a TV cut. I just don't get it.
This is the only. I think this is the only way you can get the TV cut if you have this. And I don't even know if this was released in the UK. If you get this has the 3-hour-long TV version.
Oh wow!
And then the special edition, which was has.
Now I remember them releasing that.
Yeah. And they're on two discs.
Gary, the reason why I didn't buy it is because I assumed that there would be a box set and that those would be in it. I couldn't see how they would not do that, and they haven't. I find it inexplicable. Another reason I'm not going to buy this, and believe me, I would be tempted because these films are very important to me, is it seems to still be sporting the old DC logo, which I always hated. I want the DC bullet on these things, or not at all. Without the definitive every version in there, you can get The Godfather. They pack every version. Blade Runner, every version goes into those. Why not Superman? These are important movies. It mystifies me. So I won't be pulling the trigger on the new one. I think it's good if they are offering the replacement discs. Of course, get in touch with them, like they said, if you're unhappy. And Matthew suggests it's morally wrong to do this without Richard Donner's oversight. Well, Richard Donner's cut of Superman 2 is in there, and to be fair, Matthew, the man is dead.
Yeah.
What are we supposed to do? So I think it's a good thing.
Oh yeah, I want the Superman 2 TV cut as well. That would be fantastic.
There's also this that's been listed as well, Chris. I don't think there's a price or an exact date for this yet. I'm so tempted by all of this stuff because these are more of my favorite movies. Well, the first three anyway in the Nightmare on Elm Street series. I gorgeous covers.
There was issues with that too, apparently.
Is it out already? Is it?
With the 4K, they've already released the normal standard Blu-ray and that, but I think there was an issue with the first movie in 4K.
Yeah,
well.
it was actually no. I have the standalone 4K of the first movie. It looks fine. It's a little bit darker than I would have liked, which is the same issue that we had with the re-release in 4K of Friday the 13th. The rest of them come out in this Steelbook was overseas. I know some people have imported it, but it costs the cost is absolutely insane. And with limited budget these days, because I'm in Canada, I'm probably going to get just the stand or just the regular 4K edition, which I believe is September. There's been a lot of issues regarding the artwork. The original one was just, I posted about it. It was awful.
Yeah, it was clearly AI generated, just terrible.
Yeah. So whether that may have been the original one, but Warner's obviously dropped that. The current one, which showed up this week, is actually the same as a DVD release. Yeah, that one. That there was a DVD set with that cover that came out, I think,
I
around
remember.
2002.
Very early on.
I am always wary of releases from studios because with boutique labels, for the most part, with a few exceptions, it's the quality is generally going to be there. Warner tends to be better than most, but we've been stuck with the Blu-ray edition that we have. We've been stuck with for about 15 years. It's terrible. It's all the first 7 movies jammed into just a god awful looking slim case, or just standard Blu-ray case, and the discs are stacked on top, and it's just horrific. I'm gonna wait for reviews though, and see what other people have to say, because it's retailing right now for $100 in the US, which Canada that will probably translate to about 150.
Get
Like
3D
I was happy with what they did with the new transfer of the first Nightmare on Elm Street, but it wasn't perfect. It's got similar issues, like I said, that I have with the Friday the 13th re-release. Although these are these will be replacing ancient Blu-ray releases. Several of them are actually crammed 2 movies on a disc as well. So we'll have to see. I am optimistically excited, but yeah, I'm not going to pay $300, $400, $500 to import the really fancy set. I'll just wait for reviews and then pick up this one.
They do look really nice.
Chris,
I like the fact that we have options, Gary. That always appeals to me. Anybody will give us options.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, but Chris, you get 3D glasses. Isn't that worth dropping $400?
Have you ever heard my rant about 3D TVs?
I don't. Oh, look, I love 3D TVs, but it doesn't work with red and blue. It doesn't work with red and blue.
No, for me, it was nothing but migraine inducing. Yeah. I actually find it funny watching formerly 3D movies, especially Freddy's Dead, just as an example with the 3D scene. I love watching them in standard def because it's so over the top. Oh, look, stop pointing that damn stick at the camera. They always have the damn stick at the camera. But yes, Gary, I think I'll pass. I don't want to pay $500 for 3D glasses.
What delights me about this is the fact that they're taking the time to give people a bit of choice. Even if they're not putting the customers first, they're aware that to not offer people choice would probably be to lose a sale, wouldn't it? Nobody would want. I don't think any of them can afford to do that, to lose any sales at all. And so there you are. It's not even necessarily for every budget, but for every shelf. Shelf space is at a premium. You've got either the ginormous box there with the foam and the steel books, or you've got that slim edition. I would go for that. I'm listening to what you guys have said about this because I'm really new to the boutique stuff, having only just got the 4K. So I'm really taking on board what you guys are saying about the studios with these things. I love the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I'd be looking at getting the slimmer one there.
Well, Dan, if they screw this up, people are not going to be happy because several boutique labels have been fighting for years and ultimately lost the battle to put this out. I know Scream Factory, back when they still gave a shit, so old Scream Factory, for the better part of a decade, fought to get the Nightmare on Elm Street films like a decent Blu-ray release, similar to what they did with Halloween or the Friday the 13th set. I believe Arrow tried as well for years to get the rights to this, and one of the other ones, I think at one point Kino Lorber might have tried. But Warner turned down all the boutique labels to do it themselves, which just from experience, boutique labels, their releases, they're more expensive, but they're always superior to the studio releases. Like Warner is the better of the studios, them and maybe Paramount.
I agree.
But it's I would rather have this be like Shout Factory or Scream Factory 2021. That set would have been awesome. Now it would be terrible when they'd release them independently and charge you $50 a piece for them. I'm pessimistic.
And Dan, what you said was absolutely right. I mean, for boutique labels, you find one that is consistently provides, kind of the type of quality you're looking for. Like you're monitoring Arrow now on their monthly releases and stuff. Some of the boutique labels, go in for the bells and whistles, which is more like the packaging stuff, and that's what they think collectors want. Others like Arrow, on all their releases, they have like new interviews, they have multiple audio commentaries, like their Flash Gordon one. They have old like comic convention interviews and stuff, and you can tell they go to the trouble of putting in a lot of stuff that fans would really be interested. It's not just about like bells and whistles, like 3D glasses and posters and art cards and stuff like that. Not that that's not great, but it has to be more than that.
Well, I think Gary as well. I think, and probably the most important thing is the movie itself. The worst 4K releases are generally all studio releases. There's only two companies that have never put out a bad release, at least out of the ones that I've had in terms of the transfers, which would be Vinegar Syndrome and Arrow, at least when it comes to especially their 4K releases.
Chris,
yo,
have you bought any of the Hammer releases now that they've got their own boutique label?
No, I've got most of those through.
I've been very disappointed by those because the fact that I'm interested in the movie. That's it now, because a lot of this stuff, because it's Hammer and like the movies are nearly like 80, 70 years old.
Yeah,
and so they're making up shit as extras, and they're crap. They're crap. I don't know why they would waste. You are paying a premium price for this product that's in a complete box set. It's in a box set of its own on a shelf. It's like more than double Bible sized. It's got all these it's got a lovely booklet and everything. I really like that, but the extras on the discs, they're just unnecessary.
Yeah.
And it's like I want the best quality disc I can get for the price that I'm paying, which is a premium price.
Yep.
And it's just they're not it just seems I'm paying for crap that I don't want. That's the thing. I want the movie. I want the experience of the movie at best I can possibly get. And I'm not getting that from the Hammer ones at the moment. I'm just finding them a lot of fluff added into it to try and boost up the price to make it worth it. It's not necessary. I don't know why they do it.
We got lucky in Region 1 because I have literally an entire shelf of Hammer horror, but the majority of them
I do too. I mean, I've got the thing I've had recently is the Quartermass Experiment. Now this has the 3 films, one unofficial, but it has the 3 films of the first 50s Quartermass.
Yeah, BBC.
And they're releasing these separately at a premium price. This has all the 3 of them, and they're really fantastic discs. But you're not paying you're paying I'm paying at best $115 for one movie,
which is insane.
A 4K movie, and it's the stuff inside. I don't mind if it's really nice to have a nice poster and everything in it,
but not for $100.
I know that I'm paying for the extras to be made. I don't want that.
That's what you're paying for. You're paying for the booklets and the posters and all that.
Well, I'm paying for the documentaries that they're making off. I'm paying for them to make their documentaries, which is about them, not about the actual film itself. And this is the issue that I've been fighting for.
Well, it's
I mean, it's hard enough. I know that you're not going to talk to a star. You know, I think with the first Quartermass, they talked to the little girl. She was in a Doctor Who episode as well. But she's a fairly big actress now. Ash, is it Ash? I can't remember her name anyway. But yeah, she was in the modern era of Doctor Who. But she started out as a little girl actress, and they talked to her. But all the rest of it's all about, when I was a fan, when I was growing up, you know, I don't give a shit about that. I just want to know about the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
That's why if you're looking for him, unfortunately, half of them are now out of print, but all the important ones, or most of them, through the between, I think, roughly 2018 to, I think the last time came out in 2022, they were put out by Scream Factory, Peak Scream Factory. A lot of them were also, I have a number from Warner Archive, any of the movies that Warner owned.
Oh, yes.
And the only one of only
I've
two
had
decent releases I've ever gotten from Mill Creek, one being the Rockford Files, and they have a 20 movie set, which very oddly, the quality's fine, which is not normal for Mill Creek.
Yeah, their compression is horrific.
I've heard horror stories about their reissue of the Highlander series onto Blu-ray.
Oh God, that's it. You got to see what they did to Roseanne on DVD. Dan, some of these transfers look like they were taken from off-air recordings in EP mode.
That's what my mate said. He was because he's probably the most prolific Highlander podcaster in the world, and so he did a whole thing about it, counting down to it, and when it arrived, and I think they even wanted a quote from him as well to put in there. And when it arrived, he was less than impressed. This is a question Dalek Dabando asks in the live chat, or makes a statement here. I bought the 4K 50th anniversary steelbook of The Exorcist. Very disappointing render. This is a prime example of a big studio movie. I'm aware this is available on 4K. It's one of my favorite films of all time. But I've been thinking, should I wait? Because I know that Exorcist 2 and 3 have been put out, I think, by Arrow. Maybe they'll... Is this just too big a film for a boutique?
They're put up by over here Scream Factory.
I don't know. I think you'll find that the director's cut was who is the is it? No, it's not Badley. Who is the guy that actually directed those films?
William Peter Blatty.
He actually authorized all them, so they wouldn't have gone out if he didn't think that they were of a good quality, and he literally died just as that was being released too. So,
the other kind of iffy company, some they do that's okay and some not, is VEI, which I think is up in your neck of the woods, Chris. And I think the series that have a ton of episodes, you get bad compression. It's just kind of smashed in, but you get short run shows. I have that Magician from the 70s with Bill Bixby. There's only about 20 episodes of that, and that's fine, because it's a regular 6-disc thing. But that's kind of like Mill Creek. You just never know what you're going to get. Most
of their movies are awful. I have their release of I Know What You Did Last Summer, which at some point I'm going to get the 4K. It might be one of the worst looking examples of physical media I've ever seen, to the point of almost being unwatchable. But yeah, and Matthew Pounder just said watching Mill Creek's Rockford Files. I got it for cheap, but I wanted to get it on Blu-ray, and I was thinking it was going to be crap. And I've actually this week I was watching a couple episodes. It looks fine, although if you compare it to Kino Lorber's release of Columbo last year, which I've also been making my way through.
Oh yeah,
those are absolutely stellar. I cannot believe what they like every episode looks like a Criterion level quality movie.
They're releasing some of them singularly as well, aren't they? With their own extras. They're really going to town with Columbo. I think it's getting more and more popular.
Is worth both of them.
As time goes on.
That is worth every penny.
There's the different one.
Before we move on to the pickups segment of the show, I wanted to talk about this because it does connect very much with the Nightmare on Elm Street story we were just looking at. Because as seductive as I find sets like this, and the Superman set for that matter, it is seriously a matter of shelf space with this. And I'm still not a great fan of the steelbooks. I think they're beautiful to hold, but I just don't think that they're that practical a great deal of the time. And so if you remember the James Bond set that came out not that long ago. You know, I'd made up my mind I wasn't going to get it, and then Gary Akers he bought it, and I just got this overwhelming sense of FOMO. I thought, what have I done, Gary? What have I done in passing this up? Because obviously the only other alternative is a very slim edition in a single keep case. They've packed in all 6 Connery movies all together with a cover which is a lot of people really, really hate it. I dislike it. I don't hate it, but
is the word for that.
Yeah,
cover.
It's all torn up bits of paper and things like that. Just nothing that I would want. So I was caught between the devil and the deep blue sea here. I couldn't justify the enormous expense of this set. In all truth, with the steelbooks, simply, I'm not a big steelbook guy. It takes up a lot of shelf space, and the cost of it was just that bit. Even for Bond matter, and you know that Bond is my favourite movie series. I just couldn't justify it. And I wasn't going to go for the others. I wasn't going to go for the others because they looked cheap and nasty. I wanted a middle ground. And this week they have announced these. I'm not entirely sure when they're coming out, but this, it may not be perfect, but it's a lot more like it. And I'll be getting all of these single editions of each of the Connery movies on 4K in nice, slim keep cases. I understand they've got extras with them too. So
that would have been great for the steelbooks too. They would have.
I'd have preferred
September 23rd.
September the 23rd. Yeah. Are they all coming out on the same date, or is it they trickling them out one by one?
All at once.
So the weird thing is,
have these in my grasp.
Sometimes it's actually cheaper to buy them separately than it is to buy the box set.
Yeah.
So, and especially if you wait a few months, you know.
I won't buy them all at once, Matt. You know, I'll buy Doctor No 1 month. I'll buy one each month. Because to be honest, I mean, I've only got so much time to watch this stuff, and particularly the old stuff. I'm trying to watch more new movies, but I've, again, just like with Superman, just like with Rocky, the things that mean the most to me, I've told myself I will buy them once more. So I'm being very careful about the editions that I get in these slimmer keep cases. They'll take up a lot less space than the DVDs I've got currently. I won't be worrying about scratching anything, Gary.
You know, and clearly they knew they were going to do this, and they just wanted to kind of make it seem like the steelbook, to try to like maximize whatever they can get from the steelbooks, when people thought that was the only way they'd be able to get
quite
them.
Right too, because people love all that stuff, and I would never begrudge it them, but I couldn't see why I couldn't have my preferred option either. Yeah. And I'd love the full posters on those covers, I would, but in all truth, I've got the posters in lots of books and on lots of postcards. When these things are sat on my shelf, all I can see is the spine, the fact that they've got the correct fonts from the posters. They gives each film its own identity, and that's what I want from it.
And you know what's cool about these covers? These almost look like paperback covers.
Yeah,
good point.
Which is great. It's a great design.
I'd look really good if they come with slip covers, which I'm assuming they might first pressing.
Probably.
I think they're quite nice, but unfortunately our ratings badge on our discs are awful and would cover half the bottom of that 007.
Well, we're the only region that doesn't have those.
It's like a cigarette packet.
I've got my the region-free set. I was actually watching it this morning of House. And it's probably, these are the ugliest looking discs I've ever seen, because every region except ours has hideous ratings symbols. Each one of these discs has all of them. I think I actually put up a picture a while ago. I'm like, the ugliest discs I've ever seen.
Some of the weird thing is the boutique people are already aware of all this. And so, you know, I mean, look at this. Look at that. That is like fucking ugly.
Oh yeah, that is.
And it's like, yeah, umbrella. And it's like it covers half the disc, and that's like, but the boutique ones actually put them as a sticker, and so that's actually on the plastic. So you can take that off.
They've started doing that in Britain as well, with our like circles and triangles and things that we've got.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. Yeah.
Well, whenever I see somebody in the UK doing a Blu-ray 4K collection overview, I just cringe when I see like all the warning things sticking out like a sore thumb.
It's like what are you smoking? A friggin' cigarette? Come on, you know. It's like this film causes cancer. It's like, pick off.
See, I right now I just off my shelf. I just picked up my my Umbrella copy of Possession, and yes, Matt, that like they didn't even make an attempt to make that label look not hideous. Like
Well,
actually,
see, if you
the no
buy
smoking labels are better. Like that is just it's ugly. Like
if you buy, yes, but the thing is though, if you buy the premium, $75 one with the box set and everything, that comes
here.
with the sticker, so you can take the sticker off. Otherwise, they've got to actually, because that one is actually put into the store, so all the store stuff is going to be pretty much going to have all that horrible actually on the label. So yeah,
well,
it's been like it for 20 odd years. It's just ridiculous, and it's awful.
Well,
especially for a collector. A lot of people, that's the reason why I buy a lot of stuff from the UK, just because of the smaller little 18s and stuff like that. Because I'd rather that.
Have you ever seen what we get stuck with non-boutique labels in Canada? We get bilingual covers, so we get everything in French and in English.
Oh, I've seen some of those. Yeah.
If you get the New Zealand versions, which are actually our versions, what they do is they put a bigger tape over the top of our.
For a few years now, we've been getting not just our own certificate on our covers, but the Irish certificates as well, which is a bit of a bastard.
I've seen the German one too. The German one's pretty ugly as well.
But it doesn't take up any more space. It's still only a thumbprint's worth. It's a logo that needn't
like
be there.
Big
a graphic. It's a graphic that needn't be there. It does annoy me a little, but I've sort of got used to it over time.
If I get them and they didn't have the thing on them. But,
no, these are great. And Dan, what I'm wondering now that they've basically kind of tipped their hand in that the Steelbook isn't the only way to get these, that at some point you will be able to get these. What are they going to do when they release the Roger Moores? I mean, are they going to release both the Steelbook and this at the same time? Because now that people know, all they need to do is wait a little bit and they'll be able to get like the cheaper Amray versions. What's that now? Because they've tipped their hand about it now.
The market for Bond is so huge, and there are a great many of the people who are upset. I mean, I love Bond. When I say this is my favorite film series, this is to the exclusion of all else. So I count myself as a big Bond fan, but proper hardcore Bond fans who buy the watches from the films that are like $4,000 each, all that kind of, they will buy all 3 editions. I can guarantee you, they will.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of these fuckers about.
Yeah.
I would think now
that's the thing. They don't cater to them anymore. That's the same.
I would think now going forward, like if they release, for example, On Her Majesty's Secret Service like by itself, that they would just do well to release this version and the Steelbook at the same time and let people.
I would have thought so.
If you remember, for a while there, when the Blu-rays and that first came out, was that they would have the collections for the Pierce Brosnan years and those ones, the Daniel Craig.
They never did that in Britain, but I know they did it abroad.
Yeah, they did do it abroad.
Although the DVDs were just like you could get box sets, but they were just random selections, nothing in order. I think I still have some of those actually.
And this is absolutely the right way to go, because at one point I was thinking, oh, wouldn't it be great to get the original poster art on these covers? But those original like 60s poster arts, like by Bob Peake and Bob McGuinness and all this stuff, you can't reduce that to look like anything on a cover.
I've got a big poster book where the pages are A3, and I can see it in all that detail. And I've got several larger printed out versions and postcards. I've had the postcards over the years, but they've got so dogged. They used to be on my bedroom wall when I was a kid. You could get them in Athena and places like that. So I've got lots of little bits and pieces. I'm happy with the versions that I've got. And yes, Richard Brooks, I do have some Bond Corgi toys, including the one. Yes, I've got the Lotus.
I've got the one. Is that the ejector seat one?
Rose, I don't know how to answer Rose Kirby's question, and maybe you or Chris or Matt can. I don't know what watching 3D and 4K.
You can't. Does. You can't watch 4K. There are no 4K 3D films. No, that's the reason why you get now, just 4K. You don't get 3D.
3D
TVs anymore. I got one of the very last. It died like in the last year, but I got one of the last 4K and 3D TVs. But it lasted nearly 10 years. But yeah, you know, it's just. But they are still producing 3D discs, believe it or not, here in Australia. When they're releasing, it came from outer space. When they released the 4K, they released a 3D disc as well. Same with Dread. Dread came with the 4K and the 3D version, so I already had those anyway. But yeah, so you know, it's still being produced. I think the last one to ever get released here that was officially like the first time was Avatar, the sequel to Avatar. That was the last time a 3D film was ever released, which isn't that long ago, isn't
they
it?
died here around 2018, but I know they by 2015 they stopped production on 3D TVs. Some of the 4K players, I think most of the Panasonic players on the market and the Sony X800, which unfortunately is being discontinued, actually are capable. Like they're universal players, so they're so
you can never ever watch a 3D film on a 4K TV now, not a modern one in the last
no, it's
9 years, something like that.
I don't even think we ever even. I don't think we even had the combo 4K.
Yeah, well, I did
over here. Well, you guys, you guys had it later than we did.
It was just literally when 4K was like 2015, my model. So it was just as it was coming out. Like it hadn't even had high HDR in it. So that actually came later in a firmware update where they added the HDR to it. So that's and HDR's been around for nearly 10 years as well. So
I think 2016.
It was a sad day when I lost
HDR.
The last thing I watched was Day of the Doctor in 3D. That was the last thing I ever watched. But it was nice to.
I think there'll be a lot of people holding onto that kit for certain releases like that, things that were sort of seminal in their childhoods or part of a collection of some sort. We're going to move on now, but this is just a reminder that they may have taken Hooters. They'll never take your physical media. They'll have to pry some of these boxes out of my decaying hands. I think as time goes on, everybody. Yeah. Yes, more to get into when we come back in a moment. Stay right where you are. It's time for the show and the tell in the nicest possible way. Pick up. Who's a pickup artist amongst us? Most of us, I think, whether it's pre-orders, whether it's impulse buys or car boot pickups, anything you may have scalped from eBay, come to think of it, all counts, all goes in its place on our shelves. Screens get bigger and we have more of them in our homes than ever to enjoy all of these releases on, don't we? Whatever quality they are, it's all part of the fun. I think, well, at least that's part of the fun to me. So the simple question is, guys, what have we been buying since we last spoke, which I think has been about 6 weeks ago on this subject? It's fun to show and tell, isn't it? It's the closest we can get to perusing one's shelves all together with a tinny on the go and having a chuckle about why on earth have you bought that? This is the best way that we can recreate this, isn't it? By doing it digitally, virtually, from across the world here with you in the live chat on YouTube and on Rumble. So join in and take the piss if you like. Tell us where we've gone wrong or why the set that we've picked up, the release that we've managed to snag, is not actually the best one after all. So I've had a good couple of days. I'll start the ball rolling with my second 4K.
Oh wow!
So yeah, I know. I've got this
following Last Starfighter.
Following The Last Starfighter, I didn't intend on buying this just yet, but I saw it at half price. And so I thought, well, it's one of my favourite movies all time. For a long time, it was my very favourite movie. Now I am reluctant to place any film above literally all else. Nevertheless, this is probably a film I've rewatched more times than any other. And the very last time I have bought Highlander on 4K. It's the double disc release from, I think it came out about 2 years ago. There was this giant box with, but I've only just had 4K, so I didn't buy it. There was a giant box with a poster and a various other bits and pieces in, I think, which, to be fair, I would never have bought it. Again, the shelf space issue would have been enough for me. But,
that was the same
so I finally got this.
Wow.
I've got a DVD of it from 25 plus, really early DVD with a shite cover, no features, and terrible picture. So I've heard good things about this. I think that you actually have told me about this before, Matt, and a couple of other people that we know. So I have every faith that Studio Canal have delivered at the very final release I'll ever need of Highlander. Thrilled to finally have this.
Are there different versions?
Franchise.
Are there different versions on that? Wasn't the US version a little different from the international version, or am I wrong?
I believe there are 3 or 4 different versions of it, and I think there are certain, I don't know, I haven't had a proper look, to tell you the truth, but I would imagine so, because other releases have been. It's been out several times since the one I bought, like the box standard DVD. It's been out several times, and I've never pulled the trigger on any of them, and some of those had them in, so I'd imagine,
well, there's probably, there's enough space on those discs. There probably are multiple, there's probably multiple versions on there.
I would say so. Obviously there's lots of minutiae to the history of this film, those fabled deleted scenes that still haven't turned up, and it's unlikely after 40 years now that they ever will. But until, so I say this is the last release I'll ever buy. If those deleted scenes turn up, Matt, I could well be eating my words, but this is my intention. I'll never buy this film again. So that's it for me.
Cool.
That's it for me with Highlander, and it's been joined today by this. This cost me, how much was it? The equivalent of, so this was a deal, 2 for 50p, and it was a box full, because I've been to a car boot sale, so a box full of DVDs and Blu-rays. So I had a really cheap and nasty kind of directed DVD movie. I'm too ashamed to flaunt on this show, but I had to show you that I managed to get for 25p. I've upgraded my copy of The Sound of Music to the double disc Blu-ray. That's another one of my all-time favorite movies, the classic Robert Wise musical from 1965.
I only just found out that was a true story.
Did you really?
Was it?
Yeah.
And apparently the nun married the bloke, and he was like twice her age.
Their family operated an actual inn, and maybe still does.
Went for a 22-year-old.
Mega based.
that movie,
Next one playing by Sydney Sweeney.
Gone are the days when that movie was released in the US. I've read stories about that. There are some theaters that played that movie for a year plus. Yeah. It's like gone are the days when you have movies like this, which actually play in the same theater for a year.
Gary, do you remember the days when they tried to start, when they were trying to look for gimmicks, and there was theaters that would actually have the song when the songs would play, and they did with the Sound of Music, and they did this with the Wizard of Oz. So they'd have the subtitles down the bottom, and then they'd have the little ball that bounces on the top, and you'd have to sing along. I
believe the Sound of Music may have been the first one. Yes. Perhaps it was Grease. I think it was the Sound of Music.
But Grease, but Sound of Music, they did for it too.
I got I
didn't know you were a big Sound of Music fan, Dan.
Huge fan of the film, love it, absolutely adore the thing.
That's a bit of a thing to do with the original Spider-Man, isn't it, Gary? The Spider-Man TV series.
Nicholas Hammond plays the eldest son in that. Yeah, so it's good from the sublime to the ridiculous. I also bought this a few weeks ago. I'd forgotten I'd got this. So this is Vin Diesel stars in, and this was ill-fated, this attempt to bring the valiant superhero comics universe to the screen. They only made the Bloodshot film. This was dirt cheap. This was something like 20p.
Man,
Vin Diesel plays Bloodshot.
I'm not joking. I watched The Last Witch Hunter recently, and that's another film that he did at the same, like just before this, that one. And I actually was really surprised because I'd never seen it. I was like watching it and I was like, I'm actually enjoying this film. It's really bad, but it's actually really good. I don't know about Bloodshot because I used to read the Valiant comics. And,
is that a good movie, Dan? Have you watched it?
It looks nothing like Bloodshot.
I got it
hair.
from the Walmart bargain bin for
I thought he was
$5
Asian
a few years ago. It's still in the shrink wrap.
I always thought Bloodshot was Asian.
I'm still stunned that somebody would be selling that Sound of Music box for 25p. That
25p. Yeah,
that's amazing to me.
Yeah, I also picked up. I mean, this was largely on Chris's recommendation because I really disliked this film at the cinema when I saw it.
Have you watched Showgirls yet, Dan?
Oh no, I haven't.
Okay, Dan's gonna watch Showgirls tonight.
3 years ago, I disliked this film so much I didn't go to the cinema for nearly 2 years. But I've bought it anyway. I've bought the Batman on Blu. I've bought the Batman on Blu-ray, largely based on the picture quality, and I have meant to give it another day in court.
Yeah.
I found this insufferably boring, despite a few highlights. You told me how great it looks, Chris. I think you said it looked really good on 4K.
Well, I could speak
Blu-ray
for the 4K looks incredible. I can't speak for the Blu-ray.
Well,
I've got the 4K. I bought it really cheap.
Obviously, I'm not going to buy a 4K for a film that I really disliked before.
Right. Oh no, come on, Dan! Only $50.
If I completely change my mind about it, who knows? But I thought to give it a second day in court. Yeah, and I've got the pause button. I can watch it in 2 halves if I wish, can't I? So there's the Batman on Blu-ray, and finally, I think this is my best buy of recent weeks. On top of the Indiana Jones set that I picked up for £2 not that long ago, I told you on the last show. I also got for £2. This is even better. Now, in the Indiana Jones set, there's 4 films, obviously, because it's the 20th Century Fox Lucasfilm stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So I got that. There's 8 films in this set. It was also £2 on Blu-ray. It's the entire Harry Potter series there for £2 on Blu-ray in a really lean set. I was really pleased with getting this because I really like these movies. I've been meaning to rewatch them for a while. And so yeah, there we are. Harry Potter, all 8 movies, £2. And this was in a charity shop as well. So there we are. It's
when you're at these sales, Dan, don't some of these prices just like stun you? Don't you just stand there and go, I can't believe they're selling this for that?
I wanted this anyway. So when I took it up to the counter, I was expecting the guy to say a £5 or something like that because there wasn't a sticker on it. But when he said that'd be £2,
by the look of it, it actually looks like, from the look of it, you probably go, oh, that's just the first film. I'll just, it's not like in big lettering.
It is quite thick. And it says sort of like...
Well, you never know. I mean, I bought one that looks like a book. When the first Harry Potter came out, I bought the DVD that was actually inside a case that looked like a book.
It says 8 film collection.
So you'd have to really look at it, though.
Yeah.
And there are special features in there as well. There's other discs. This is a 16 disc set, something like that.
That's a great bargain.
Absolutely huge.
Probably come with the DVDs as well.
£2.
Does it come with the DVDs as well?
Yeah, that's insane.
I don't know. Maybe. Perhaps.
That's why it's 16 discs, I reckon. Oh, you probably
that's all my HD bags of the last few weeks. What have you got to disclose, Gary? Anything?
Only a couple since last time. Well, 2 of them I'm going to leave for Matt because I know he has them and he's probably going to show them.
No, I'm not. I didn't because I knew you'd show them.
Well, the 2.
So you go for it.
I got the 2. They're over there on the other side of the room. I got the two Hammer Quatermasses.
Yeah, no.
Which is basically just like the black box. You have to take it all apart to see it. But Matt's right. One 80-minute movie per box. And the rest is kind of bells and whistles. But I'm glad I have them.
The book is amazing. Like the book on the history of the actual thing. I really like
with those things. You're paying for the extras. You really are.
Well, yeah, you're paying for them to make the documentaries
and the other
and stuff.
One, I don't know if I showed it last time, but I see it there on Matt's shelf, so we both see it. And hopefully, Chris has it by this time, which is The Dark City.
How did you see that?
Well, no, it's on your. I saw it on your shelf. I mean, it's
not on my shelf.
Oh, I thought you held. Didn't you hold it up? I thought you held it up.
Oh, maybe I did.
In the show.
By accident.
You held it up early in the show by accident.
Yeah, I got that too.
Yeah, no, this is. I mean,
Me 3.
you're getting another great, booklet, and this has both the theatrical cut and director's cut. And if you were ever a fan of this movie, you have to get this version.
It is
with a great
awesome.
poster and
everything. I was very lucky because the day it was announced, I got this email. I got this message. I was in Melbourne, and I got this message from this guy called Gary. He was saying, "Have you seen this?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, it's being released." And I was like, I'm just on my way to go and meet Alex Proyas. So I literally that day I congratulated him on the film and on the release and everything. So it was pretty cool. It was a well timed.
And no, this is an amazing. I don't know if they still give video awards. This would definitely get like
it's
some
my
kind of
release of the year so far.
Is that the 4K version
for it?
Yeah.
Yep. They have a Blu-ray version too, but I don't know why.
Yes,
you guys
bought
have talked that film up so much. I might take a punt and then buy. Because
what do you mean?
I saw it when it first came out, and as I said on the last show, it didn't really make much of an impression on me. I enjoyed it, but I've not really thought about it much since.
But
it wasn't the director's cut. You have to watch the director's.
This is the director's cut. I don't know if you saw the director's cut or the original cut, but the director's cut.
It would have been the original. Like I say, it was when it first came out.
Night and day.
Just didn't make much
the
of
director's cut.
I didn't hate it, but once I watched it again, and I haven't really given it much thought since. So
when I spoke to Alex, when I went to the preview that he had before then, he was talking about his movie because he's moving. He's doing his own thing now. This is the director of the film, by the way, if you don't know who Alex Proyas is. But every film that he has done up to past Dark City, he did iRobot as well and everything, has had interference by the studios. Every single film. So now he's gone out on his own and he's doing one. He's actually creating it from AI, which I was a little bit, no. But yeah, he's using AI because it's cheaper and, he can get what he wants done and he's not getting any sort of pushback from a studio or something. But, it's just the fact that with the director's cut for Dark City, you can see where the studio decides to fuck with the actual story, what he was planning to tell, because they're like, people won't get this. You need to start. They have a narration that tells you the entire film. This is the original, the original cut. They tell you the narrate that has Kiefer Sutherland narrating what is actually happened for the whole entire film, and then you're going and you're like, well, I already know about what's going on in this universe, But the director's cut got rid of all that. It's fantastic. It's like a Blade Runner-esque, final cut. It's just and plus this has had his, seal of approval and everything. I've got the UK version. I'm sure Gary, you've got the US version.
It's from Arrow. This is the Arrow.
Yeah, there's
Arrow
a US
video.
version and a UK version of it. But it's the same. It's the same. But yeah, it's just it comes with the booklet and everything.
I think when you see the director's cut, Dan, you're gonna end up. It's gonna go up in your estimation.
I'll buy it. I'll probably buy it later in the year. Maybe wait for the price to come down a little. Because
did you ever watch Home and Away, Dan? There's a chick in there. Yeah, there's a chick in there from the 90s. One of her first movie roles, and she goes totally topless. Very nice.
Ooh. And if you're a Jennifer Connelly fan, this is unmissable.
Yeah,
it's not Kylie Minogue.
Initially,
I have to say too, the best soundtrack. One of my favorite soundtracks, Echo and the Bunnymen. It's just so many cool things. It also has Jennifer Connelly's song on there, Sway, and it's just it's amazing. I'm going to talk about it on my channel at some point.
Yeah, my others, I just got two since the last time we did this, and to my surprise, I actually kind of leaned into horror a little bit, something I never thought. Now with horror, I don't do like the gore and the slasher and the Saw stuff. I don't do Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Me too.
I go more for like the chiller type of horror. So I went for TV horror. I got this box set of this series from the 1960s called Thriller with Boris Karloff, which was on. Show? It was on for 2 seasons, and he was the host, much like Rod Serling. And actually, he starred in 5 episodes of it. It's a horror anthology. And it took him a few episodes, apparently, reading up on the history of this. The first producer, who was the producer for like about 8 episodes, didn't really get the whole thing they were going for. It was more muted kind of crime drama stuff. And they finally brought in a producer who leaned heavily into the kind of horror aspect. They got adaptations from a lot of the pulp horror stories. They got like Robert Bloch and Edgar Allan Poe and leaned in. And this set, it was only on for like 67 episodes over 2 seasons, because back in the days when they used to do 35 episodes a season. But this, it's like little slim cases, but there's like 50 hours of special features in this. There's 27 commentaries with all these horror aficionados about the specific episodes, ton of promos and stuff. And when this and Stephen King apparently at one point said that this was the best horror show that was ever done for television.
Remind me again. When was it? The 60s or the 70s?
It was on from 1960 to 1962.
Wow, that sounds really good.
For 2 seasons.
And you know what, Gary?
Yes, sir.
I have. Growing up, I used to read the Gold Key comics.
Yeah, it was like Boris Karloff's mystery
Presents.
Something, and that comic series was around like for decades.
Yeah.
The show was on 2 years, but that comic thing stuck around
Finished last year.
Like
I thought you might get a kick out of it.
But no, I like this kind of like the chiller gothic horror stuff,
particularly in bite-sized chunks like that.
Yeah, the remastered, you can watch it an hour at a time. It's an anthology. And the other one, going up to the present day, something that I didn't watch when it was on, but I kept seeing clips and things. I thought, I'm going to just watch it, is the complete collection of Grimm.
Oh yeah, I love that show.
It was on.
I skipped out after the second series, I think.
Yeah,
but
I guess
want
it
to
was
get back
on
into that.
like for 6 seasons, and it's about like the detective realizes he's from a long line of Grimms who basically battle the creatures of myth, which are reemerging. And
it's very Buffy-esque.
This is my kind of horror level.
Yeah.
So I got like an old one.
I always thought that looked fun.
A much more new
Dan, the chick in it is the one that played Lois Lane in Superman
That's right.
and Lois. Mm.
Oh, I know who you mean. Yeah. She's beautiful. Yeah, I like her.
Yeah. So I'm excited to jump into this, like something I never watched when it was on. Now I can just do the whole thing. 5
seasons, did you say?
I think it was 6 seasons.
I remember I had to pass on that. I was just watching too many things of a similar nature, so you can't watch everything, can you? But a lot of people I know really like that. It's one of those shows that people seem to, people in if they're watching something with their other halves as well, they'll say, like we are binge watching this. I know a lot of couples who watch that show. If you've got a geeky,
I like shows like this that develop their own mythology.
Yeah,
my current girlfriend would be terrified by that. Absolutely terrified. She can't stand anything like that.
Get another girlfriend.
Go. So that's me. That's me for this ride.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah, brilliant. I'm really taken with the idea of thriller. I think that looks really intriguing.
Yeah, hopefully I'm waiting for it to come out on Blu-ray.
And this is DVD, and I think chances are, especially, I got this actually before the latest Prime Day, but I did see that on Prime Day this was going for like a super good price.
Yeah,
I'd never even heard of it, Chris. I bet you had being the horror guy.
It's regioned.
Had you heard of this, Chris, before?
I have heard of it. I've never seen it. I'm just looking. What does it go for now on? 43 murder mystery movies. Is this the same one?
Well, no, it's got to be. Oh, you know what that is? No, that was you're looking at the UK series, which was from 70.
Yeah, no, I got it.
That was basically done by Brian Clemens. That was
right.
a different anthology.
Yeah, I found it, but the set is now going for $141. from Amazon Marketplace, meaning on top of that, it's probably a bootleg.
It's got to be a bootleg because I paid nowhere near that.
But I would never pay that much for a DVD, even a Blu-ray set of anything these days.
No, I got this for a regular price.
Enjoy. Chris, you've sent a few pictures ahead as well of the things that you've been getting. Yes. And first up, it's just as you described. It's one with a cover, a bilingual cover. So tell us what you've been buying, mate. So,
and in case you haven't noticed, that's the desk that I used to use when I made videos on these that nobody watched. Le Destination Ultime, Lien des Sangs. That's what a lot of Canadian covers look like. So they're very jammed up. I had not expected this to be as good as it is. In Final Destination, we watched them for the blood, and they're all except for the fourth one, which does have its moments. But I enjoy all of them, even some
goofy fun, aren't they?
But no, this one actually has character development, which you don't see much. It has probably the best intro scene out of all of them. It's absolutely insane. It continues with the tradition of the first five. The final one, Final Destination 5, came out way back in 2011. So this is the first one in 14 years.
I can't even remember.
But they take a slightly different approach with this one. As usual, has awesome kill scenes. This was when this was first announced, I kind of rolled my eyes because most modern remakes and sequels and whatever suck. But then everyone kept seeing it was good. And then I looked at Rotten Tomatoes. I'm like, it's like 85%. Both, I don't trust the critics, but the audience. I'm like, damn. So I picked it up and watched it, and it was awesome. Yes, I also got I owned the first 4 Final Destination films now 3 times. I had them all individually, and then at one point I inherited this terrible 4 set. For the longest time, I wanted the 5th one, but you couldn't find it separately. So Amazon Prime Day, you could get the first 5 movie set for I think it was like $15, maybe a little bit less. So I got that. I got the first 4 movies again, but finally got the 5th. So saw this. It is worth it. And actually, I think the intro scene is available on YouTube. With sort of the Space
First
Needle.
13 minutes.
Space Needle, and it is awesome. So I would recommend this
on
one.
YouTube.
Better say what?
I'm surprised it's on YouTube.
Well, no, that's how they.
Quite bloody.
Actually, yeah, I'm surprised it hasn't been. Well, I'm assuming it's age restricted. But yeah, so worth it. Check out the first 4 originally. I'd say, I don't know if I would say this is the best. But I'd say it might be maybe the equal of the first 2, which are still probably the best.
Good movies.
But yeah, so that's the first one in French. What else? I gave you. Yeah, I only bought 3. These
my
are my
problem
July
is with those ones is Chris, is that sometimes they sort of like sometimes they don't make sense. Like it doesn't.
Oh no, a lot of it makes no sense at all.
Well, I mean, Tony Todd comes back in this film, and he died in the second one. So it's like, it's like, okay. And then,
you actually, yeah. But see, here's the thing, Matt. Don't ask questions. Just
no. Well,
these
the
films
issue.
They're made to be fun.
Can we clear something up? Because I'm a little confused. Is this the 6th film in this series?
Yes.
And this is in effect a legacy sequel. So there's been quite a long time since the 5th one, because I think I only ever saw the first 3, and then I didn't watch any further. So the dust has really gathered on this for me. But I've seen the excitement.
The 4th one. The 5th is fine. Actually, I won't give it away, but I absolutely love the twist in the 5th one. It's like, holy crap. This one, it's the other. The previous 5 movies take place sort of in the same universe, but this one it's very different. But it does, like the kill scenes as always are just, that's why we watch these. So I would recommend it. 4K looks fine, but anything that's currently shot in 4K looks fine on 4K. It's the older movies. It depends on the transfer. But anyway, so I only bought 3 things last month because the days where I could buy boxes of stuff are over because I live in Canada and we're all broke now. So here we go. So from Osgood Perkins, who also gave us Long Legs, which we
oh,
liked.
yeah.
And Stephen King. Now, this is Stephen King before he went insane. From a short story from 1980. So this is about a monkey and very bad things happen. This movie was awesome. The only downside is Tatiana Maslany is in it, although she dies in a very satisfying way, so that will make you feel good.
Oh, She-Hulk.
It's basically about a monkey curse, and many bad things happen, and it's completely over the wall. And I think so far that this might be my favorite movie of the year. When did it come out?
Wow.
In theaters. But it's bloody, but it's awesome, and it is completely over the top. Actually, in many ways, it's kind of like Final Destination in that where it is very gory. Do not eat things while you're watching this, but it's also kind of like Terrifier, where it's completely over exaggerated, and you will never look at stuffed monkeys the same way again. So I highly recommend The Monkey. So that's 3. So basically my 3 pickups last month I liked. Okay, Dan, and then for the next one, every now and then by accident, Scream Factory will still put out something that isn't crap. So I'm assuming they picked this up by accident. The DVD was actually previously released by Vinegar Syndrome years ago, which as far as I know is out of print. So Fade to Black. So this is from 1980.
Yeah. And
this is basically about a young man who is obsessed with movies, and he's a little bit unbalanced. And then one event causes him to eventually snap, where he gets stood up, or he thinks he stood up on a date. Then he goes on a rampage, but because he's a little bit unbalanced, he becomes the characters. So we've got Bela Lugosi's Dracula, or he becomes Dracula and he kills people. We've got The Mummy. So if you're a film fan or a horror fan and like old movies, this is worth it. Actually, and even though I'm
a great cover.
Not happy with Scream Factory lately for various reasons. I've done like half-hour long rants. So I'm not going to do that right now. But again, occasionally they do put out something that's worth it. This is worth it. Amazing transfer. This is, like I said, even to this day, Scream Factory knows how to retransfer these things properly. It is Arrow Vinegar Syndrome quality. So if you like horror movies and you're a fan of classic horror, or you just want to see somebody just go nuts, this is fun. And we got a comment from Rose Kirby. The other day I bought Wicked. I did not buy that. But yeah, so these are the things that I can preview what I've ordered for next month. So next month I've got 4 things pre-ordered because I kind of have to select because again, this is Canada and we're all broke. I miss the days where I could buy everything coming out, but it's kind of fun being selective because then you really do appreciate what you do get and you can give it the proper time. So you're going to laugh at me. I don't care. I did order Poseidon on 4K because it's a guilty pleasure.
Okay.
But I would not recommend. No, this is not one that I would. If it's not a guilty pleasure, do not buy it. Obviously, the 2 Texas Chainsaw Massacres, and there's 2 films. If you has anybody ever heard of the Deathstalker movies? The second one is so bad it's hilarious.
So Barbarian Sword and Sorcery.
That was from the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there many years ago, Scream Factory put out a double pack, and it went out of print in like 6 months. So we figured that they'd lost the rights, but no, they decided to hold on to them. So they are putting them out as a double 4K. So I've ordered that. So for 2 months in a row, I've gotten something from Scream Factory, but most of the other stuff they're
Didn't Frank Frazetta do the posters for those?
I think so.
Why do I think that? Yeah.
Oh, the posters are amazing. Yeah, and the posters are the artwork on the box as well. So Deathstalker, that's an acquired taste. The second one has some very, very special acting and special in Just actually go watch. I'm pretty sure Red Letter Media has covered. Actually, yeah, they have. Okay, go watch Red Letter Media, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You kind of have to like these movies or appreciate the humor of the stellar acting in the second one, and you'll enjoy it. So out of the four I get, Deathstalker. Don't go into it blind. Just I wouldn't recommend it. See if you can get it cheap. You have to be like me. I do not recommend Poseidon unless you're me. And like I said, I love the Resident Evil movies, so we all have our guilty pleasures. And I love terrible things happening on boats. But I highly recommend the 2 Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies coming up from Arrow Video. So those will be my 2 pickups. I was going to get I can't even talk. Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3 from Scream Factory, but I decided not to because I could not justify the cost. So, but I do have the Blu-ray versions, which at one point they were going for like $500 a piece because that was out of print forever. So yeah, so that's me. So yeah. So Richard Brooks, Deathstalker 2 is hilarious. Oh, it is. Like we're talking Madam Web levels of hilarity. Oh yes,
these films are notorious, aren't they?
Speaking of getting things cheap, I did get Madam Web for $1. Because I'm like, I have to see if this is as bad as I think. At some point, we've got to do a watch along because this is the funniest shit I've ever seen. Oh no, honestly, you've never seen anything like this movie. It is so bad. Everybody in it knew exactly what they were in. They don't care. Nobody cared with this movie, down to the cinematographer, down to the editor, down to the score that doesn't make any sense, down to the Dakota Johnson goes through the phases of realizing what she's in. Then suddenly you can tell she's very depressed. Then near the end, you can tell she just doesn't give a shit anymore. And it is hilarious.
Brings
and
oh my God, the
ADR, it's not even mixed in with the audio. Like this is a marvel to behold. At some point, I'm going to force everybody to do a watch along on this because you've got to see this thing to believe it. This is the worst movie ever made.
They have burnt some characters from my childhood in that I genuinely loved. A big Spider-Man fan, Madam Web herself, and the second Spider-Woman.
You can't even look at it
Madam Web.
No, I really great casting for Spider-Woman.
Madam Web is
have you ever seen? Has anybody here ever seen The Room? Tony Wiseau's considered one of the worst movies ever made. This is like The Room. Honestly, no, dude, this is so bad. You have to see it to believe it. It is unbelievable. I laughed my ass off the whole time. It was awesome.
The only thing that's stuck in my memory about Madam Web, which I think it came out probably around 2 years ago, is the story of the guy who was arrested and charged. And I would imagine he could have done a long stretch for public masturbation in the cinema. Watching it, I understand.
Seriously,
it does have Sydney Sweeney, and she is wearing a very short skirt, so there's that as well. That's fun to watch. And Sydney Sweeney knows exactly what she's in. She's one of those who you can tell is barely holding a straight face, and you can tell that in many scenes they burst out laughing right after the take was done. But no, after Dakota Johnson stops giving a shit, it is hilarious. I was going to swear, but I won't. It is hilarious. Like, honestly, load it up on Netflix, get popcorn. This is so bad. It's funny, brought to a whole new level. It gets my recommendation. I got it for $1 and it was worth every cent.
I'm going to have to watch this after all. I was going to give it a wide berth. It does sound fun. And pretty ladies in tight outfits, it's never a bad thing, is it?
So
or is it? As we'll find out, won't we?
I'll force you all to watch the Poseidon.
Do they get locked into a room together and they're like, oh, what do we do while we're all in here naked?
Yeah. And it takes place in 2003, other than a very bad link. There's no reason for it to take place in 2003. They even they use Britney Spears' Toxic. It actually came out a year after,
wasn't it?
Which is kind of funny. And Uncle Ben is lucky he didn't end up in jail because he was by himself with 3 underage girls, but they don't go into that very quickly. And spoiler, the villain does get killed with a Pepsi sign, which is awesome. With some great under the water, just
That sounds like a Michael
spiders
Bay
in the
movie.
thing. But no, like the ADR, like literally they didn't even try to make it match. The soundtrack makes no sense. It's like they were literally just, okay, we have the score just at right. Okay, just throw it in. Well, it sounds, I don't care, print. I'm like, this scene isn't even in center. We don't care, just print it. Your actors are laughing in the background. I don't care, just print it. Who edited this? I don't know. This doesn't make any sense. No, it doesn't. Print it. Okay. Okay. Her mouth isn't moving, but we hear words. I don't care. Print it. Nobody cared. It's awesome.
It's one of those films I remember when they announced it, because I remember they were doing this Spider-Verse film, and it was like, Madam Web, she's an old lady in a chair that's blind.
Yep.
Do you think that could have been? Do you think, obviously not having seen it, do you think that could have been why they set it in 2003? The idea being Dakota Johnson must be around 30. So were they planning on doing a film where in the present day, Venom and Morbius and all these other arseholes they did the films in, if an older Madam Web, maybe with grey hair and blind, still played by Dakota
Johnson. They didn't even think that far. They did not even think that far.
There's could have been a reason they set it in the past.
And
I do
Madam
know
Web
that the ending looks like
ridiculous.
something out of Birds of Prey. Remember the TV series Birds of Prey?
Yeah, I do.
Like that, actually.
Get one for free watching that. Yeah.
And it's like they're up in a watchtower, and it's like,
yeah.
Wait, this is supposed to be pickup. How did I get? I should have given you a picture of Madam Web, even though it was like 2 months ago.
Bit of Birds of Prey action. From when was that, Gary? What year would you say that was?
Was it 2000?
Yeah, around the time that they did that movie.
2002.
I had a friend that went to a comic book. He went to a comic book store, and Mark Hamill walked in and started bitching and moaning about Birds of Prey because he'd only just seen it because he did the voice in it.
Does he play the voice of the Joker in that?
Joker in it, only for like a minute, but really he came in and he just was ranting and raving about how horrible this series. How could they do this? And it's like, well, years later, how could they do that? What to Star Wars, But anyway.
One for the girls. Want to take your girlfriend too? A good date movie. Matt, before we head off, what have you got?
Before you head, so I'm last. Okay.
You are last.
No, I'm last, and I've got the most.
No, you've been providing good commentary on the
Well, no, we say because you're so pretty. We had to save you for the end.
I've got my own channel, so you can go to that. And
what have you got?
Show us.
What have you got?
Show us.
Okay, so I'll slim them down. So firstly, I've got Space Adventure Cobra. This is the movie. It's in 4K. It is beautiful. You can watch parts of it on YouTube for the 4K release, and it looks stunning.
Is this a vintage title, or is it something?
Yes, it's from 1982. It's Japanese anime, and it is Star Wars. Literally Star Wars, but it's beautiful, beautiful artwork and everything in it. The character in it, he has a bounty on his head. He's been, he actually was blue. And so he had to be changed so that he could get out of, being arrested and everything. So he's made himself to look like a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, whatever you like to call him nowadays. But he also has this thing called a psycho gun, which his arm transforms into, and that's that there. So that's what he's holding on to.
Let's have a closer look at this one.
Now, he also has a villain. There's also a villain in it that's very Darth Vader-esque called Crystal Boy. And he's got a see-through... He's kind of like Terminator before the Terminator, really. So he has a see-through insides, and all his insides are golden. So he's got like this skeleton that's golden inside.
This is a movie rather than a series with loads of parts.
Yeah, there is a TV series, but this is the movie for that. So
you've sold me on this. That sounds great.
And yeah, well, the thing is, like, there are all these sisters, all these girls, okay, and these blonde girls, and they look all the same, but like they all have different attributes. And there's a little bit of nudity. There's a little bit of nudity, but they also, like, the nudity in it has, like, instead of nipples, they have stars. So, but it's really cool. He flies a ship, and the ship is actually a female in the female form, and it's a robot. And
like
it's really
Battle Beyond the Stars, yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, this is way far beyond that. Like, you know, it's just really nice. And so, you know, the only thing that you can differentiate between the sisters is their coloured hair. And so some green and blonde.
Is this
and
one of those
blue
movies that? Is this one of those movies that a select number of people really venerate because of the animation? It's got like a really cult following, or is
this has a cult following? It's literally going to become a video game this year. But it started out as a manga, and then they made the anime. I actually own one of the original cells from the cartoon series, Pride of Possession, because he's got his psycho gun out. But yeah, it's so much fun, and that's Crystal Boy. So that's him behind there, and then of course you have.
Cool.
So he's got a gun. He chomps on a cigar. He's very, very Han Solo-esque, and yeah, it's so much fun.
What's the full title again, Matt?
It's called Space Adventure Cobra the movie, and this is the 4K release.
That's not just like a.
I'm such a fan of this. I've got the original DVD that they released in early 2000s.
That's not like just an edited together compilation of episodes, right? Like that was
no, it's a full movie. Like it's not like the edited. No, and the soundtrack is amazing in this too.
Wow. Okay.
So they actually have it like a Queen-esque. They actually get a Queen-esque type to do the soundtrack for this. So yeah, I waited until this became fairly cheap, but yeah, it's a pretty good film, and I couldn't wait to get it on 4K. Next up, I've been collecting the 88 films of the British horror genre.
Yes.
You know, the Tygon ones that they've been releasing.
Yeah,
so this isn't a Tygon one, so it's a bit weird, but they've just released the Black Torment, which is a horror-esque, ghostly tales from the 1960s. And I got this during Prime Day, actually, so it was fairly cheap. I didn't actually even know they released it. So it's a little different to the Tygon releases.
Who's in this? Who would we recognise as the star?
Do you know what? I don't think there's any in here that I know of. Some of the bad writing.
When I saw that title, I thought my first thought was that kind of describes the last 2 years of what we've all been going
this
through.
is from 1964, and it's like none of the actors I know, so it's going to be good, and this is all just British, you know. But it's not a Tygon release, so it doesn't have the yellow. They've got all the Tygon ones have a yellow,
and they've got the year they were made on them, haven't they, as well? Yeah.
Well, this one does too, but it's just a totally. I do have like another copy of this that was released on Blu-ray, but this one is 88 films, so they would have gone to the original negative to, reproduce it. The other ones, they did the same with Boris Karloff with The Sorcerers as well. So that was released.
Yeah, I saw that.
Previously.
I saw that in HMV when I was there last week. It was very eye-catching cover.
Yeah. So anyway, that's
Torment.
The Black Torment. So it's
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, returning home to introduce his new bride to his father, Sir Richard Fordyke, of course. John Turner from the giant behemoth is horrified when he's blamed for an unspeakable murder, but he will soon face even worse. A dark secret emerges, and the ghosts of his past rise against him. So it's from the legendary producer of The Witchfinder General, the blood on Satan's claw. That's creepy as. Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen that, Gary?
Yeah, it's a Hammer movie.
Yeah,
it's haunted by all his ex-girlfriends.
Chris would like that too.
Really scary.
Chris would like that too. Chris, you seen that? Blood on Satan's claw?
Yes. At one point,
that was one of the later Hammer movies, right?
Yeah.
Like
so this is the guy that did the Watchfinder General and stuff as well, the producer. But yeah, so I was hoping you guys would know who these people were, because I had no idea. Heather Sears, John Turner, Anne Lynn, and Peter Arne.
I know who Peter Arne, but Peter Arne and what was the name?
Heather Sears.
What was the actress's name again?
Heather Sears and Anne Lynn.
Did you mention Anne Lynn? Anne Lynn was a very popular actress through the 60s and into the 70s, and had a major career revival in the 80s as a sort of sitcom star when she was a bit older. But in the 50s and the 60s, she did a lot of those kind of it girl kind of roles, with the hair and the maxi skirt and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I know exactly who you mean. And Peter Arne, a character actor, he passed away in the
he was in a
mid-80s.
Davison story.
No, he wasn't. He was meant to be. He was murdered as they were rehearsing.
Oh, that's him.
But he was a character actor. I think you'll find he was in a lot of those kind of movies around that time, like the portmanteau kind of style of film. If you go and look him up on IMDb, you'll find this sort of long filmography for Peter Arne.
Was that the one that was murdered for his homosexuality?
I couldn't tell you. I can't remember.
Oh, okay. So anyway, there was like one of them anyway. But so next up is got a Warner Archive. This is a 4-disc set of Innocent Blood, which I
nearly ordered this.
Well, this is the UK release, which I was surprised by. So it also has Body Snatchers, which is a spin-off of the Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1970s. And it's really bad. It's a Larry Cohen film, and I was like, oh no. Yeah, it's like really cheap. And I was surprised because it's Warner Brothers.
This version of Body Snatchers in this set you've got there. See, I loved that when it came out on VHS. But I've never had it on disc. I haven't seen it since the 90s. But I loved it at the time.
Yeah. And there's Wolfen, and it also comes with Bowie in The Hunger. And Susan Sarandon. And this actually comes with an audio commentary from Sarandon.
Albert Finney is so good in that.
I like 3 of those 4 movies. Innocent Blood, I didn't have a great deal of time for, but I'm aware that is a lot of people do like it. It's the John Landis movie, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I think was that filmed in Britain? No.
Probably.
I think The Hunger was. But anyway, so there's that. Next up is one for Gary. It's The Great Race. There you go.
I love that.
Did you talk about it the other day?
Offline.
I'm begging Matt to do I have to push myself onto one of his shows to do.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about this. I've only seen bits of this.
For the people who don't know, this is one of those sorts of crackpot comedy movies that they used to make in the 60s, isn't it? Like Around the World in 80 Days. It's a Mad all that kind of stuff. Has it got a big cast, Matt?
Well, I mean, this is Gareth. Is it Gareth Edwards?
No, it's Blake Edwards. Who
Blake
did all
Edwards,
the Pink
sorry.
Panther movies.
Yeah, the Pink Panther movies.
Tony Curtis, Natalie Wood, Jack Lemmon, Keenan Wynn, Peter Falk.
Well, this is the prerequisite to the Wacky Races. This is what Wacky Races was based on.
This was the film that Blake Edwards and Peter Sellers went off to make. That meant that neither of them returned for Inspector Clouseau, so they recast the lead part, didn't they? And they got a new director. I can't remember. Alan Alda plays.
Peter Sellers isn't in this.
Yeah, Peter Sellers isn't in this, but Alan Arkin.
No, it's Tony Curtis.
The one you're talking about, that was Alan Arkin.
No, I think Peter Sellers was like had enough.
Peter
of
Falk's
it.
But,
this is a Warner Archive, so its transfer is phenomenal. It's a 2-hour and 40-minute movie. This is the movie that would be on a Saturday from 12 o'clock in the midday. And then, because of all the adverts and everything in it, it'd go till after 3 o'clock.
Yeah, and it has an intermission in it, too.
So, I think they cut that out for the TV. For the TV release, though?
No, the TV, but in the video you're holding, the intermission's in it.
I've got to really, as Gary said, it's probably one to sit through for every hour, once an hour or whatever.
It's divided into sections. Now what Dalek DeBando is talking about, Peter Cook and Dudley Moore, the car movie they did, in the mid-'60s, there was a movie called Those Magnificent Men and Their Flying Machines. Airplanes. They did a sequel to that, which was set decades later. Terry Thomas was in it, which is kind of like The Great Race. It was called Monte Carlo or Bust, but the U.S. name was called Those Daring Young Men and Their Jaunty Jalopies for the U.S. to tie it into the other one.
Monte Carlo or Bust,
and that is the one that Peter Cook and Dudley Moore was in.
Okay, there you go, darling.
There you go.
Okay, this one's for Dan, and it's Action Jackson. With
there you go.
There you go.
I'm going to have to get this. I've wanted it for a while. Never had it on disc. I've got a really crappy transfer that I got off the TV from years ago, cable TV channel. Used to have it on video, VHS back in the day. I'm going to have to get this. It's a fun film.
This really annoyed me because when I ordered it, it had the American cover because this is a Warner Archive title, but they've released it in the UK with the same transfer and everything.
Say, that's the cover that was on the Guild VHS rental tape when I was a kid.
Because of Sharon Stone. Yeah. That's the only reason why they've done that. The American release just had Carl Weathers and is that Vanity there? Anyway.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the US poster did not look like that.
This is the movie I think that really upset Prince, actually, isn't it? Because of Vanity.
Why?
Yeah, because Vanity was with Prince for a long time, and he pretty much discovered her. And he wasn't very happy that she was doing this sort of stuff. And I think she did a Playboy as well, didn't she, Gary? I don't know.
Well, because she was in Purple Rain with him.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
She started doing other movies.
And so that's that.
Fantastic. It's relatively cheap as well. I found it online when we last. I think you and I talked about it privately a couple of weeks ago. So I went to look it up, and I was surprised how cheap it was. So I'm almost certainly going to get it. If you say the transfer's good from Warner Archive, did you say? Then even better.
Yeah, Warner Archive are always. There's only the few little problems where they have that sort of issue with, like, the Flintstones and that. Anyway, so this one I thought all three of you might like. So this is called The Legend of the Superheroes.
No, I've never seen this, and I've always wanted to.
And it is an absolute shit show of 70s superhero. It's just awful, but it's great at the same time. And there are actually superheroes in here that we wouldn't see on television in live action or on movies for a long, long time, like Hawkman, who looks like a duck. And you've got you should see his here, look, I'll show you. Look, that's Hawkman there.
It was originally,
can you see? That's Hawkman with Shazam.
It was originally two 1 hour specials on US television.
Yeah, and like a morning television, wasn't it? It was a morning.
No,
Saturday
it was prime
morning.
time. It was prime time.
But anyway, there's like a superhero in here called Old Man. So and they do like a superhero roast. And there's also like the Riddler's in this too. Frank Gorshin actually returns as the Riddler in this, as the leader of the Legion of Doom, And and also Solomon Grundy.
So hang on, Matt. It's not the Legion of Losers. It's the Legion of Doom.
No.
Oh, very insider. Very inside, Dan. I like that.
We've got also Solomon Grundy shows up in this, played by Lurch from the Addams Family. So yeah,
it's kind of like Dan. It's like if they did if they did a Super Friends episode live action, it would probably be something like this.
I've always wanted to see this. I gathered it wasn't theatrical. I couldn't quite work out what it was.
No, it was network.
Because I've seen the photos, and you think, why would you do that?
It was
I would imagine.
Well, not only that, but like Adam West is in this too. So it's like the original, Adam West and Burt Ward. But Adam West hasn't even bothered with his cowl, and his cowl's so ill-fitting that he just didn't even bother. It's like he just showed up. Like if you see it, it's like one of the worst ill-fitting cows.
This is actually a deep dive for Dan. Dan, you should get this if you want to see like live-action versions of Black Canary and Huntress, the original.
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
and Green Lantern. Yes. They had the Green Lantern in this too, didn't they? And they also have like the Legion of Doom. They have like the corresponding villains as well. So they'll have Sinestro and Mordru for Shazam and for Captain Marvel, and that's a weird thing because it has Captain Marvel in it, and they've just had a Shazam.
Mordru was Legion of Superheroes.
No Superman, no. This was obviously made to capitalize maybe on the Superman. I don't know, but anyway, it's interesting. The last one that I'll show you guys is I recently watched this, The Secret of Nim.
Oh, that's a great one.
That one was
scary. Of my childhood.
That's scary.
Yeah, very scary. Kid. Yes, absolutely, Chris.
It's totally different. I haven't seen this film for over 30 years, and it was sort of one of those ones that it was what do you call it? I sort of confused it with another film called The Mouse and His Son. And so I was waiting for scenes that weren't in this film.
That's Don Bluth, right? Isn't that right?
Yeah, this one's Don Bluth. This is before he did Dragon's Lair. But like
I haven't watched it since the 80s, and I think I'm still depressed and terrified.
You know what? It's surprising because, I mean, this is something that, Disney should be making nowadays instead of what they're making now.
I miss Dark Disney.
And this is adult. So there is blood in this.
Yes.
People get stabbed.
It is.
People get stabbed. Characters sort of die off screen. So I don't actually see them really die. They just die off screen. But that you do get invested in the story, and it was totally not what I remembered it as. So that it was good in a way because I was coming into it fresh. There was very rarely things that I could. I mean, it was 82, so I probably would have been only about 7 when I saw this.
There were tie-in Ladybird books and sticker albums with that. And I bought them all. I was in for everything Disney at the time, and that was as near as damn it. It was, to my young eyes, it was indiscernible from a Disney movie. So I got on board the hype for that. When I saw it, it was kind of it was unlike anything I'd ever seen before.
This is one of the rare occasions too where the Blu-ray is actually the extras are actually worth it, where they actually delve into the history of Nim.
I love that. Who does that? Who made the video?
Oh, that's Eureka, Masters of Cinema. Eureka. So this one, but it's
it's kind of like the Iron. It's kind of like the Iron Giant, like a superb animated movie that just fell through the cracks.
It does say it's B, so region B. But yeah, so that's it was actually really interesting and entertaining, and I just I can't remember that being in a kids movie, but I don't know, because it was just like one of those films. It's very short too, but they actually changed the name of the character from the books as well, from the main character, because she was actually Mrs. Frisbee, and they changed it to Mrs. Brisby, and it's very interesting to know how because they couldn't change the soundtrack. And so they literally, like the audio guy literally scratched it, so it would sound like Brisby instead of Frisbee. So that's how they got around that. So it was, there's some interesting things with documentary talking to Don Bluth about it, and another lady talking about the stories of Nim.
Some of these Don Bluth related movies got this kind of bespoke treatment. Yeah. The good stuff and the not so good stuff, because the stories behind these movies are fascinating. The experimentation that Don Bluth was part of. We might have to touch on that another time.
The thing is,
wonderful.
The thing is with this is I mean, all his stuff later on after this was all kiddie stuff. It was all kiddie stuff. All dogs go to heaven. Land Time Forgot. Even though they had a few death scenes in that,
his major hit was An American Tail, wasn't it?
Yes.
That was once it hit upon that formula, they wouldn't let him shake loose of it, I don't think.
No. And so, but it was for that and Dragon's Lair, that was really cool.
Part of the reason American Tail was so huge because the song from that was like a
somewhere out there.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's it. I could show you more, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, I've got a stack of more here as well, but there's always a room for more of these shows. Of course there is. Matty, I've scribbled down suggestions from all three of you here, and plenty of stuff from the live chat as well. And
Dan's going to get Poseidon and Madam Web.
That absolutely.
I'm going to watch Madam Web tonight then. Just for you, Chris.
We've spent like an hour and a half giving everybody epically quality movies, and the takeaway is we're all going to go away and watch Madam
Web. And watch Madam Web after all. My God.
I've got Morbius on 4K and that I still haven't seen.
Morbius is a work of art. It's Citizen Kane compared to Madam Web. Somebody mentioned Batwoman, or as we called her, woke Batman. Oh no, this is far worse. Again, that woke Batman is a masterpiece, like best show ever compared to Madam Web. I've never seen anything like this.
We're going to have to get it in our lives, aren't we? I think. Okay, yeah, thank you for all those recommendations, everybody, and all of those comments from the live chat as well. People reacting to those picks. I mean, Lord Thoth seems to be a big fan of your final pick there, Matt, The Secret of Nymph. I think if you would, like the Dark Disney stuff,
I was kind of kicking myself it wasn't 4K.
When it's not what you're expecting, those are the kind of movies that stay with you, aren't they, throughout the rest of your life? The movie-going experience, the home rental experience, and now the pickup experience. I'd like to pick her up, actually, but I think she's probably drawn a pension now. Let's have one last word from this guy.
And what happened with Black Sabbath? We all ended up junkies and alcoholics and everything. Like the drummer ended up in a rehabilitation center. I did for a while, and in the end, disaster happens. It's inevitable to happen, disaster, because it's like drugs. They were okay at the time, but we outgrew them, you know. We just, you know, we took LSD, we took cocaine, we took vast amounts of marijuana. It was fun at the time, but then we all just sort of it's not a very good idea anymore.
So you have a more stable life now?
No.
The late, great Ozzy Osbourne with more words of wisdom there. Okay, so yes, that's the show for this week. Physical media show for August 2025. There will be more. The story continues as our collections grow, and we have far, far, far too much fun for the other people in our life to possibly approve of in the real world. But we can get together here, can't we, and geek out about the things that bring us pleasure, and fuck them all. That's what I say, fuck them all. There'll be more physical media shows. You can check out the previous editions as well in the playlists, as well as our movie reviews. More of those coming up. We're drawing up a list of movies we're going to be revisiting here as part of the Spacebook Live now. And there's our regular James Bond shows. There'll be another one of those coming up soon too, as well as our pick through the news, the TV, streaming, and movie news coming weekly here at the Spacebook Live. Same time, same place. Check it out. Okay, time to fly off. Everyone, time to fly off. Obviously, we've missed the rabbi from another planet this week. He's on one of his religious excursions for the weekend. I think they're starving him. He's doing the thing where he has to fast for a while, and then they're making him sort of sit somewhere in a darkened room, listening to. I think he has to recite a certain page of text or something like that. So I'm sure he'll make it out the other side, but hopefully we'll be back for the next one. What a great show! Thank you for the comments, everybody. So we've had Richard Brooks in the live chat, Dalek DeBando, who's off to watch Madam Web as well. Lord Thoth's there too. Rose Kirby as well. And lots more folks who've joined us throughout the duration of the show. Thank you so much. Matt, yes, you mentioned it a couple of times there. People want more of your insight and good humour and the odd rant here and there. Where can people see more and hear more from you? You're on social media, obviously, but there's the YouTube channel too. What's it called? Where can people find it?
Yeah, I do have a YouTube channel. It's called Mad Pot. And you can find me on YouTube, and I talk about physical media. And there's a lot of things that I've probably repeated on here that I talk about over there. So up to you if you want to watch me here.
The stuff you say on here is a trailer for the main feature.
That's right. Yes,
so you got to look at it. When people go and hit you up on your channel.
Yeah, and I don't pull back either. So I'm not like most of them physical media people that just try to suck up
to get free copies of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Don't get me started on my Crocodile Dundee.
Thank you for getting up early to spend this time with us, Matt. Some great picks there, as always. Some really sort of far out picks. I always end up scribbling down plenty of stuff here. Some of it I even go and buy myself. So yeah, I'll definitely get Action Jackson. Of course I will. Chris, again to you, mate. Some interesting picks there. I particularly like the look of that last one, the one from the 80s. But always good to enjoy your company and get your insights.
Thanks, man. Everybody come yell at me on X. It's fun.
There you go. Join the the Balls Trek bandwagon. What is it you call it? The Trigger Train. Trigger Train.
Home of the Trigger Train, but that's only when I make videos, and I'm still recovering from covering a certain show that I won't mention for 8 weeks in a row. So yeah, that was horrible.
I was with you. I was with you.
Your therapy's almost over.
You didn't have to spend an entire weekend every weekend for
you didn't have to
12
rewatch
hours with each of those episodes from the show that will remain nameless that we won't mention here. At some point we'll do I'll do another video, but yes, that has turned me off videos for the foreseeable future because it was horrible, but we won't say what it was.
Yeah, you can come here and you can rant here and there when it's applicable, can't you? But yeah, thank you for your company, mate. And the same to you as well, Gary Akers, the retro doc himself. Yeah, it's been a good show. I mean, I love doing these in particular. I think that when we first started making the Spacebook Live, we sort of hit upon this idea. It proved to be somewhat of a winner. And because these are the kind of things that we talk about in private as well, aren't they? That we message one another about. You know, I've just seen this listed, or that story's broken, or I can't believe I bought that last edition because look at this one, it's so much better. These are the frustrations. Like this is the hell of being a physical media collector, I think, Gary.
Yeah, I think everything depends on your tolerance for like multiple copies. I mean, if you can get like, I think I have like 4 rounds of all the Bond movies and stuff, and it's just like at some point it's got to be enough, but until then it's just like we're at their mercy.
Yeah, a few months ago I bought the Arrow Life Force 4K that they had, and now it's being released in 4K in Australia with an entirely new collector's set.
You got to get it. You got to get it.
I saw
like postcards of Matilda May and.
I just have my fancy Steelbook Blu-rays from Scream Factory, and they were good. I will stick with that because it makes me happy. Nothing makes me happy. Absolutely nothing.
I'll tell you about that later.
You can hit me up on social media as well. I'm the Spacebook on X mostly, but Instagram too, where I talk about movies and TV, pop culture generally, really, whatever I'm into at the time. The odd bit of political stuff, which I feel is worth sharing, that needs saying. You'll get my opinions over there. Of course, other opinions are available, and for me, that's the real boon of using social media. I think in moderation. So come and check out what I've got to say over there and decide that I'm a terrible, terrible person, of course. But that's us slipping off into forever for the time being. But we will be back. Of course we will, out there somewhere. Thank you for your comments and your company. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody.
What a wicked nightmare!